made it more.
No, it was.
Did you do something here? Did you put Gita?
No, by Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram. This is too loud. If you can use sitting down.
There are so many other companies.
Even the green one is good. It's too loud. I cannot hear what I say.
Okay, the down one, no?
Down is I thought it's just cumbersome to remove it. Can you hear?
Start.
In between, if I forget, this is the first thing. It's also good.
Please connect the Zoom now.
Yeah, same.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Rama. Hare Krishna. Should I mute it here? Should I mute it?
No, you can. I'm
Okay. Sorry to keep you all waiting. Today we intended to start a little late so that everybody can arrive. Coming now. Okay, I have to share it now.
Yes.
The Zoom. It's going now.
Yes.
Yeah, I think. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुः उन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमो ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिधि नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादि पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Welcome all of you. And to quickly recapitulate what we did in the first two sessions. First session we did on the identity. Second session we did on the G, that is God is in control. These two things we completed. So in the identity, this body is not all in all. Soul exists. That's one we discussed elaborately. I gave you scientific evidences for the same. Then we also discussed about difference between matter and spirit, and there's a control of both. So, how many of you were present in this first session? Okay, 5 of you. Okay, how many of you were present in the second session? Okay, the second session, it was a bit technical. A lot of videos I showed you, and We devoted a lot of time to just understand one thing, the source of life and source of universe. So God as a source of universe, we devoted a lot of time in that it is necessary, especially in this day and age. But today we are going to devote time on law of karma and what type of work we should do to gain freedom. So therefore I have given the heading, if you see, how to catch fish without getting wet. Actually, Lord Krishna says this in Bhagavad Gita. Just like water touching a lotus leaf doesn't stick to it. There is some wax or something on the top of it. Padma Patram Ivambasa, Krishna says. The water, if you keep it on a lotus leaf, it just falls away. Similarly, you can be in this world without getting entangled. How to do the work?
Can I make the small version?
Yeah, correct. So, when we work in this world, we may oftentimes get drowned in the samsara ocean, as we see happening to all human beings. But the Karma Yoga teaches you how to work and not get entangled. One little example we can give for that, like a soldier attacking, the neighborhood country in the war. They are given a reward. But if the same soldier kills his neighbor, he'll be behind the bars. Because one is for the country's sake, another one is for his personal account. Similarly, in today's session, we will learn how to work in such a way that our activities can be 24/7. You can be very active in your life and not get entangled. So I've given 5 headings. Let us see how many of it we will be able to complete. This is the first heading. Where can we find true happiness? This is one thing that everybody in this world is looking for. And there are different levels of happiness. As you go from bottom to top, you will see that the amount of time you are able to retain the happiness becomes longer and longer. You will see that. For example, if you take physical pleasure like eating a crackjack biscuit or drinking a cup of tea or eating a cake, very nice experience, but doesn't last long. Few minutes, 3 minutes, 5 minutes. After that, once it goes down the throat, where is the happiness? Isn't it? Mental pleasures last much longer. Like if you did a painting or you learned piano, some nice tune, or you're playing violin, or here the boy is reading some love letter, I think. So all these things, or singing a song. Sometimes you like a particular song, keep on murmuring it for 2-3 months. After that, you get bored with it, then you go for another song. So it lasts quite longer, not just a few minutes, but it may last for a few months also, or sometimes few years also. But after that, it becomes pale. Similarly, we also try happiness in different activities. Some people try in sports like badminton, or in intoxication, rave parties, in skydiving, or scooter race or something like that. Crazy passions. So people try for happiness in various things. Yeah. But those are all mental. In intellectual, if you make a very powerful move, in checkmating somebody, say you become champion of the whole country, that may be giving you a big boost of ego. It may last for even a decade or 2 until another champion comes. It can last for a long time. But bigger than intellectual pleasure is the egoistic pleasure, which means you are the first one to do something and nobody else has done it till now. Like say, I think what is his name? Hillary, who first put the flag in Mount Everest. Edmund Hillary, yeah. So when you put, now can anybody else take that place now? Nobody else can take the place. Which means, for how long do you think his happiness will last? That I put the flag in Mount Everest first. Yes, anybody?
Till he lives.
Till he lives, yeah, for the whole life. That means egoistic pleasure goes for whole life. But when he dies, he takes another body, he will not even remember what I did in the last life. Correct, no? So, you can see that the whole purpose of mental advancement is to increase happiness. Why do we have smooth moving cars? Why do we have tall towers? Why do we have nice eatables? And the whole purpose is to increase happiness. We have many facilities in the modern times. But somehow it is an accepted fact, everybody is observing that there is a great amount of stress, especially doctors have declared, WHO has declared that the 21st century disease is mental related illness, which is stress. Like you can see, one is due to time crunch, see the top picture, too many things to do. Another one is stress, another one is workaholism. See, that lady is telling, close the computer now, enough now, she's saying. She's fed up now. And this fellow has so much paperwork to do, he's scary, isn't it? And she's receiving too many calls. See, that fellow is lying in a coffin and saying, Bob, there is a problem at work, he's saying. Even in coffin. So there is always it appears that there is not enough time to complete the work. So the balance is a challenge in this day and age. People make a lot of money, there's no doubt about that. Money is flowing like river now, but only there is no happiness. What is the cause of that unhappiness? So, is man becoming just a sophisticated animal to eat more, sleep? Because animals do these 4 activities of eating, sleeping, mating, and fearing. You will see that they are in fact, they are more expert than humans also in these 4 activities. Like, elephant can eat tons of grass, we can't eat so much. Polar bear can sleep 6 months in a year, we can't sleep more than a night. Yeah, mosquitoes can produce millions. We can only see a human being producing 1 child in a year, max. And of course, in defending also, animals are very powerful. They have their specially equipped, things in their bodies to defend also. This is what makes man different than animals, you see. There is spiritual, like praying, doing yoga. Yoga actually means to connect with God. Yuj means to connect. So yoga means to connect with whom? Connect with Supreme. And studying scripture and understanding and chanting. These are things which only humans can do. We can actually make our life sublime, become divine. Just like aeroplane and car goes in the same runway, but aeroplane can take off, but car cannot. Animal bodies are like cars. And human body is like aeroplane. We can go to a higher plane. What is the meaning of higher plane? Not acting by instinct, but acting thoughtfully. Animals act by instinct. Like we say, just do it. That means instinct. Opposite of just do it is what? Look before you leap. That humans can do. For example, one can blurt out angrily even before understanding the situation. Or one can listen well, understand, and then speak. So this can be done by human being. Human being can rise above animal instinct. It's possible. By meditation, by study of the scripture, by prayer. He can bring out his angel within from inside. Which means we all have angel and animal both within us. It's our choice which one we want to bring out, angel or animal. These animals can only talk about eating, sleeping, mating, defending, whereas humans can ask about what is life, what is death, and what is beyond it. Like, for example, here are some questions. Human beings can ask, why am I suffering? Animals don't ask at all. Like, imagine some 30, 40 goats are all going in a queue. They don't know where are they going. And they're all fed with grass. Inside the room, one by one, the goats are being cut. You will see that. They don't even ask what is going to happen inside. So, when they're going in a queue, their focus is only on grass. Right now, I'm getting green grass. Just close your eyes and just eat it. And very soon, that neck will be cut. But if you see human being, imagine you put 50 human beings in a queue, give them all an ice cream. They're eating. When one fellow's neck is cut, what the other fellows will do? Do you think they'll be going? They will throw away the ice cream and run away from there. Because human beings don't tolerate suffering. They can protest. They can try to stop suffering, make an effort. And also, if an animal, for example, say take a bull, is putting the mouth in a handcart and eating a cauliflower or a cabbage. And the owner of the handcart may beat the bull. Next day again, he will do the same thing. You've seen that? Second day, third day, fourth day. It just doesn't have that sense at all. Imagine you go to somebody's house, they insult you. Will you go the second day? People don't go for generations also. They even tell their grandsons, don't go there. You can see that how much human being is different from animals, you can see that. Yeah. And that is why even the country makes laws, not for the animals, for the humans. For the animals, there is stick. For the humans, there is word. You want word or sword? Shastra and Shastra, two words are used in Sanskrit. For the Shas Dhatu, Shas means control. From that Shas Dhatu, there are many words which come. Shishya, Shastra, Shastra, all of them come from the same Dhatu word, Shas, control. Which means Shastra means weapons. Shastra means scripture. So scripture means word of God. Shastra means stick. So animals need which one? Stick. Whereas the human beings, word of God is enough. Word or sword. So therefore, when we suffer, animals don't ask, they keep suffering. They don't know. But human beings can ask, why am I suffering? We will learn about that more today. And also, why at all this world is created? There has to be some purpose. We can ask about that. These two questions I'll be answering in the subsequent slides. And after knowing that, how to harmonize our life with God and nature. Nowadays, everywhere people are talking about, organic food. People are talking about spending more close time with nature. Many people go for a brisk walk in the morning, you see. They take fresh air. And man is talking a lot about, avoiding pollution and saving the environment. All these things, awareness has come now because the more we don't harmonize our life with nature, the more, man is only going to suffer. The result of that. Once Maneka Gandhi was in a plane, my spiritual master also was getting down from the plane and she saw him as a Swami. So she asked him, Swamiji, what are you doing for the environment? She asked, because she was the environment minister in India. So Maharaj told her, see, you are working for the external environment and we are working for the internal environment, he said. And he said, if people's internal environment is clean, then they will not pollute the external environment, he said. Because man, when money becomes the goal of life, then he starts factories which are giving out smoke. So much poisonous smoke in cities, you can see that. Near Bombay, there's a place called Vapi, Recently I had gone there. So much stinking chemical smell there. Every lane you will find factories emanating thick smoke. There's nobody to ask about that pollution because people are making a lot of money with that. So you will see that man, when he harmonizes his life with God and nature, then he's truly happy. And then attain eternal happiness. So in human life, if you make spiritual inquiry, then you are promoted to higher life. And if you don't make any jignasa, no inquiry at all, inquiry means who am I? Why am I born in this world? Why are we all suffering? How to rise above suffering? What is the goal of life? Is there any purpose of life? If you don't ask, then one is demoted to lower animal forms. Because animals don't inquire. If humans don't inquire also, then they live like animals only. So there's two questions I told you just now, a few minutes ago. So let us see about why am I suffering? Let us see. Before talking about why am I suffering, we have to talk about suffering itself. See, most of the students, if you ask them, what's your problem? They will say that, I want a good physique, I don't have a job, I have a family problem, I have no money. These are the things people say. You've seen that? Because people cannot think beyond that. They think only of the body. Therefore, in the first session, we spoke about the difference between body and soul. Very first session. Because most students, because they've never heard about, the goal of life, the difference between body and soul. Therefore, here are the three conditions Shastras say. The real problem means they fulfill these three conditions. You all have to find out what they are. See, this problem is not like the boy is saying, I don't have a job. That is his problem, but others, many are having jobs, correct, no? Or somebody may say that, I am not handsome, but somebody else is handsome. Whereas these three problems, if you see, they have to be common to all living beings. And none of the living beings want it also. And they can't avoid it also. So you have to find out what are those problems. Anybody can guess? Any of you? It is common to all. Nobody wants it. I've given you the three dictums, what the Shastra say. Yeah, yes, madam?
Suffering? Nobody wants it.
Nobody wants suffering, yeah. Actually, all these four are suffering, the four problems, but you have to say, what are they? Your point is correct. Yeah. Death is correct. Death is one of them. Correct. Birth also, yeah. Old age also, yeah. Yeah. And disease, yeah. See, these are the four problems that are mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita. Like Krishna says, Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadhi, Dukkha, Dosha, Anudarshana. And why he says that, the reason is, this is Siddhartha Gautama Buddha's story. His father would never let him travel outdoor. He kept him within the palace as a prince. One day when he went out, he observed that a dead body was being carried. He asked the minister, what is that? The minister said, that fellow is dead now. And Buddha asked, Siddhartha asked, what is the meaning of death? And the minister said, that's all, his body will not function anymore. Then he saw an old man. Then he saw an old man with a stick. Why he has become like this? I am very hale and healthy. But why is he holding a stick and bending his body? And minister said, he has become old. So Siddhartha said, then I will also become old one day, isn't it? And minister said, everybody becomes old in this world. And then he saw another sick man lying in the bed. Finally, he went to a saint. He asked the saint about this, and saint told him, actually, Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadhi, Dukkha, Dosha, Anudarshana. Explained to him that any intelligent person should know that these are four problems of life, and they should actually find out a solution to this, and the solution is not material, solution is spiritual. Even Einstein said, the intelligence with which man has created problems in this world is insufficient to solve those problems. Like that he says. A child can take a pot and break it, but can the child make a pot? He cannot make it. Similarly, Einstein said the same thing. We can easily create a mess in this world, but we cannot make this world a better place without referring to Shastra. It's not possible. So what did Siddhartha say? You see, he says here, this is the end, he exclaimed, which has been fixed for all, and yet the whole world forgets it, fears and takes no heed. Turn back the chariot, he said. This is no time or place for pleasure excursions. How could an intelligent person pay no heed at a time of disaster when he knows of impending destruction, like that he asked? And immediately he went back to palace, and then he subsequently decided that he will research into the absolute truth. And then he went to the Bodhisattva tree. You all know that. He went to the Bodhi tree, and then he attained Bodhisattva. So we all want to remain young, hale and healthy, but very soon our bodies become old and weak and frail. We have seen that. And of course, people try putting a lot of cosmetics and so many things to make up for the, lost youth, but everybody knows it shows up. You can't avoid old age. Yeah. In the same manner, everybody wants to be healthy, but eventually we see that people do get sick without our wanting also. Similarly, the death also, here's somebody getting heart attack. Yeah. Here Garuda Puran says, indeed, O Garuda, when the hour of death approaches, then by chance a certain disease raises up its head, he says. The organs grow weak, troubles start showing their powers, as if all of a sudden millions of scorpions have stung the person, from Garuda Puran. So, chapter 2, Garuda Puran. So this is, everybody has some complication in the body. Somebody gets heart problem, somebody gets kidney problem, somebody gets And also it's there in the heredity also in the family line. Sugar, somebody has brain tumor, somebody has Alzheimer. As the age goes, you will see that when the age from 60, 70, 80, some disease is introduced in the body to knock down the body eventually. Because body cannot survive forever. And none of us would want any disease to come in our body. We would like to be healthy all life. But depending on our karma, it may come. So that is another thing. So as you see here, activity. Apart from the four problems I told you till now, there are also three. Somebody may say, Prabhuji, birth is already over long before and old age is far away. I am young, hale and healthy now. Neither do I have any disease. Some people say like that. I have no disease, old age is far away, birth is already over and death doesn't seem to be any near. So I'm quite all right. Don't tell me all these things and don't frighten me. So some people say like that. For them, we can tell this. There are three other miseries which are there at all times. You will see. There are miseries from your own mind and body. Can you guess? What are the miseries from your own body and mind? Of course, from body, you can have discomfort in the form of disease and all that. And in the mind? Mental illness, stress, depression, and also sometimes mind is filled with anger and hatred and all that. We suffer from those things also. And from other living beings, are there troubles or no troubles? You will see anybody in this world, you ask, hey, you got just newly married, you got a own house, your father has gifted you, and the company has given you a car, and you have a beautiful bungalow now, you have a car, you have a good job, I think your life must be happy. You have a nice water tank at the top, you have no dearth of water supply, everything is all right. So the man said, everything is all right, but there is one problem. In this area, a lot of mosquitoes in this area. He was selling in Bombay. There's a place called Mira Road, full of mosquitoes in that area. Or you ask a lady, now, you got properly married now, you have a husband, you have a beautiful, home, and he's providing you all facilities. Are you happy? She will say, yeah, I'm happy, but my mother-in-law, I can't deal with her. Every day something comes up, she may say. So you ask anybody in this world, they will say, I'm all right, but they will say always. There will be one thing you will find. Some other living entity may create trouble. Like for example, somebody can do pickpocketing. Or sometimes mosquitoes can bite. Sometimes, correct me. Coronavirus, isn't it? Or sometimes colleague in the office sitting in the next to you is very, all the time he gossips and harasses you. You are fed up with the chatterbox, but you can't run away. So there are problems from which you can't run away, they persist. Similarly, natural disasters also. See, I've given you many here. See, this Durga has a Trishul. These are the three. Adhyatmika, Adhibhautika, Adhidaivika, Klesh, we call it. Adhyatmika means from your own body and mind. Adhibhautika means from other living entities. Adhidaivika means from natural disasters. So this is the Trishul we call it, which is Durga. So Durga is a personified material energy. So her Trishul represents these three miseries. Like here is shown, you can see here. The teen suicide rates have tripled in the past 25 years, he says, due to academic pressure. So any age you take, in that particular age, we have a particular challenge. Like here you see this, isn't it? So, and then we have Adhibhautika, see the terrorists or fault-finding critics, pickpocketers, bugs, snakes, so many things. Adhidaivika Klesh, New Orleans, you must be aware, correct? In America, New Orleans, there was a cyclone. Similarly, in Marina Beach, there was a tsunami. In Pompeii, there was an earthquake. 20,000 people died in that. So, mass karma. So, of course, we are very advanced in medical science now. We have very good facility now. But even with all these things, we find that the diseases cannot be eliminated from the planet. Newer and newer diseases come, just like this novel coronavirus. Delta variant is a recent one. 3 years before that, there was a SARS, So So you will always have something new coming up. The diseases cannot be eliminated from the planet altogether. So you can see the solution that modern science gives. Okay, you have white hair, don't worry, you can have hair dye. You have wrinkles, okay, use a facelift. You have back pain, stomach pain, knee pain, use painkillers just to suppress the pain. Or you have breathlessness and death, use oxygen tube. Is it a good solution? What solution are these? Temporary stopgap solutions. It's called patch-up solution. It doesn't serve the purpose. It doesn't actually remove the problem at all. So therefore, we want a permanent solution. So with all advancement in science, man cannot stop these four problems: birth, old age, disease, and death. So therefore, how to stop it? If you go to the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna says that these four problems are repetitive for the jivatmas, or the souls who come to this world. See, only when you take the material body, then only these four problems are there. If you don't take the material body, you don't have to suffer these problems. I'll tell you one example. Once I was flying in a plane with one neighbor sitting, and he was doing some, he was playing one game. I think it is called a test for speed, I think. Test for speed. It was like, in the screen I saw, he was like going in a vehicle in the road and a lot of other obstacles come on the way. He has to turn like this, he has to turn like that, he has to go this way, that way. There's a possibility of accidents also. Sometimes accident also happens and crash happens. And so this fellow was constantly moving it, and almost 2 hours he was playing. I only watched him for 10 minutes and my head was spinning, watching that. Then I closed my eyes, I went to sleep. After 1 hour, I saw he was still playing after 2 hours. So after 2 hours, he got exhausted completely, that fellow. So now, you see, that game is an exhausting game. But he chose to opt for it. I mean, he chose to play that. Otherwise, he could have kept his computer closed. Who told him to play that? He chose it, correct now? So because he chose to play that game, therefore he is suffering. Of course, I chose to close my eyes. I didn't have to suffer that much. Only 10 minutes I watched. In the same manner, you opt for this world and you take on a material body, then only these four problems come. So in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, you can actually put a full stop to this repeated cycle of birth and death and go back to that spiritual plane where there is no old age, no disease, no death, no birth. The soul is permanent. God is permanent, soul is also permanent. God is immortal, soul is immortal. Is that clear to everybody? So that Krishna will tell us, now we will see ahead in the slides, how we go to that spiritual plane. So where do we go after this life? And so this question will answer that.
Through this door, where do we go? Is it nothing?
So we all go through this, correct? Childhood, then boyhood, then youth, then old age comes. Then what? What happens at death? Most people in the world do not know. But at the time of death, what happens is going to be explained now subsequently. What happens to us at the time of death? The soul leaves the gross body. I told you in the previous sessions, we have two bodies, gross body and subtle body. And both are material bodies. But the gross body is 5 Panchamahabhuta, we call it, like earth, water, fire, air, ether. Earth means all the flesh, bones, muscles, they are all earth. And water means the blood and the water in the body. Gases means the 10 types of airs, prominently 5, prana, apana, vyana, udana, samana. And fire, there is a fire in the belly which digests the food, the heat in the body which is necessary. Neither is the space. So these 5 constitute the gross body. And what constitutes the subtle body? 3 things: mind, intelligence and ego. Intelligence and ego. So when a person dies, what happens? The soul with the subtle body, man, buddhi, mind, intelligence, ego, that comes out. And the gross body is what is sent to the graveyard. Either put in a coffin and buried, or it is put on fire. Correct, no? So the soul with the subtle body comes out. So in the subtle body or the mind is stored all our, experiences in the life, the memories, the unfulfilled desires, which may have to be fulfilled in the next life or something. So those are all stored. Like you see a man going from cycle to a bike to a car to a plane. So he's changing the vehicle, but the driver is same. Correct, no? Like that, the soul changes bodies. He leaves one body and goes to the second and the third and the fourth. Now, for example, if you take Quran or if you take Bible, some people think that in these religions, there is no reincarnation. Reincarnation is only in Hinduism. People think like that. And that is a misnomer. Because in Bible, I'll give you one quote, I'll tell you from Bible. Jesus tells his disciples, he says that Elias has come again as John, he says, John the Herald. So they all ask him, how do you say that Elias, who lived long before, has come as John? Do you mean to say that he entered into his mother's womb again? And again he is reborn? So Jesus says, those who have the ears to hear can hear, like that he says. Which means if you understood what is reincarnation, you understood, otherwise you won't understand how the soul leaves the body and comes. At one place. Similarly, there was one king called Constantinople. So his wife had 7 paramours. One day she was sitting in the palace and they were reading from the Bible and they were reading about reincarnation. And she said, wait a minute, what is this? They said that, whatever you do now, as you sow, so shall you reap. The next life you will reap. So she was the one who told the king that all the sections of reincarnation should be abolished. Although many of those sections were removed, it was not fully removed. There are traces even today, you can find out. But in any case, you will see that the spirit is answerable to God on the day of judgment, which many Christians call as doomsday, they call it. Why they call it doomsday? Because if you have committed sin, it is a doomsday. Otherwise, it's not a doomsday. So that means like in front of Yamaraj, we go and we are answerable for our good and bad actions, correct? No, like that. Similarly, in Quran also you will find the spirit actually is answerable to God after we pass. So in Garuda Puran it is said at the time of death, the soul comes out of the body. At that time he laments that I have committed many blunders, mistakes in this life. I have done so much harm to so many people around me. And he has certain amount of pain and dissatisfaction in his heart. At the same time, when he goes to the next body, that means he's carrying some plus minus account with him. We call as Durgandha Vasanas, Sugandha Vasanas. They are stored in the mind, exactly like the wind carries the aromas. Like sometime when you're passing and going in the train, if it goes through a jungle, some animal has died in the jungle, some nasty smell comes through the wind. Or if it is going through a flower garden, the pollen carried by the wind gives nice fragrance. Similarly, the mind carries the good and bad impressions that you have involved yourself with in this life. It carries. For example, you had some impure activities encountered in this life. They are stored in the mind. You had some pious activities, like you come to the temple, you took darshan, you bowed down to the Lord, you heard a katha, you heard kirtan. These are pure impressions. So pure, impure, everything is stored in the mind. And the mind carries us to the next body, just like you see the vehicles. A man is changing from one vehicle to another. Like that, the soul moves from one body to another. Yeah. Please repeat his words. Antakale cha mameva smaran muktva kalevaram yaprayati samadbhavam yati nastyatra samshayah. See, Antakale means at the time of death. Ma means myself, Krishna says. Smaran muktva kalevaram. Kalevaram means a material body. When somebody is doing Mameva Smaran, remembering me, somebody quits the material body, he will attain Mad Bhava, my spiritual world, he says. In that, na asti yatra samshaya, there is not even an iota of doubt, he is saying. Definitely they will attain my spiritual abode. At the time of death, if you remember me, he says. So, I am going to show you two more slides now. The picture which you are seeing here, it is of one very sinful person called Ajamila. This Ajamila, and he was born in North India in a very good pious Brahmana family. He was having very good culture at home. His parents brought up very nicely. But what happened to him as he grew up, he got married to a good chaste wife he had. My parents were also pious parents. One day he went to the forest. He saw one very impure sight of one low-class man and woman embracing and smiling at each other. So then Ajamila, due to some previous janma, a previous life account, in his mind some dirty, the desire started arising. He thought that I want to bring this prostitute to my home and enjoy with her. So he went home and brought her like a servant maid. And then he told his wife to go to her parents' home. And he kicked out his old parents also and kept her in his home, and then he indulged with her, and 10 children he begot in her. He became thoroughly corrupt, completely irreligious. And in order to satisfy that lady, he had to steal by becoming a highway robber. He even murdered some people. He became so atrocious, actually. In this world, if one has to lead a sinful life, one needs a lot of money, and one also will indulge in dangerous activities which will bring about a ghastly future. So that's what he was doing. So he was actually preparing for going to Yamaloka and be punished. But one good thing happened. One of his lost child, a small kid, the mother was sitting with the child on the lap at the door of the house, and one saint was passing by. So this prostitute lady, she asked the saint, please give a name for this child, she said. So the saint, while walking on the road, he said, okay, call him Narayana, he said. And he went ahead. So then they started calling Narayan, 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 like that. So Ajamila also started calling Narayan, and a lot of good, Sukriti was accumulating in his account because of calling the name of the Lord. And as you see in the picture, the Yamadutas came at the time of death. Yamadutas means they are constables of Yamaraj, who take a person to hell for punishment. At that time, Ajamila loudly cried, Narayana! Like that from the bottom of his heart, because out of fear. He didn't call the Lord Narayana. He called whom? His own son. That is mentioned in Bhagavatam. Mriyamana harer nama grinan putro pacharitam ajamilopyagadhama kim buta shaddaya grinan. Yamaraj says that later. He didn't call Lord Narayana, he called his son. But Lord Narayana and Vaikuntha took notice of that. He said, hey, somebody is calling my name. Vishnu Dutas, go immediately. He told his servants. In the picture you are seeing servants of Lord Narayana, who look very similar to Narayana. They also have 4 hands. They also carry, the Shankha, Chakra, Gada, Padma, all those similar weapons they carry. But they told Lord that actually he's not calling you, Lord. He is calling his own son. But Lord said, give him a benefit of doubt. Go and protect him, because he's anyway called my name. Go. So Lord immediately said, one thing becomes clear. Lord is more eager to take us back to his abode rather than our interest in going back to him. It is seen in this world also. Parents love the children more than children loving parents. You will see that. Parents are worried about children. Parents are concerned about children. But the children many times think that, why should parents be worried about me so much? Just leave me alone. Give me freedom. They think like that. So when in the picture you are seeing, this is Ajamila.
Narayan! Narayan! Oh, Narayan!
These are the Yamadutas. They're very dangerous looking bodies and faces, crooked faces. These are pulling the soul out. You are seeing them? And Vishnu is stopping them.
Who are you that dares to challenge us? For we are the Yamadutas.
You heard what they said? Yeah, Yamadutas, who are you to challenge us? Huh? So the Vishnudutas came and cut the ropes put by the Yamadutas, because the point was, yes, it is true indeed that he was a very sinful person, but now he has chanted the name Narayana. He is not under the jurisdiction of the superintendent of death, Yamaraj, anymore. They said, now that he is called Narayana's name, he has come under Lord Narayana's custody now. You guys cannot touch him. If you have doubt in what we are saying, go back to your master and ask him, like that they said. So you can see the power of the holy name. And later on, there was a debate between the two, between Vishnudutas and Yamadutas. And Ajamila was watching what they are saying, what he is saying, and he heard for a long time. That was a satsanga. Very nice understanding he got. After that, Yamadutas went back to Yamaraj. I mean, Vishnudutas were there, but Ajamila wanted to speak to them, but they also retired. They also gradually went behind and retreated, and then they disappeared. They didn't talk to him. And Ajamila loudly cried and repented for all his mistakes. He felt such a great remorse. And then in the right side picture, you see Ajamila went to Haridwar, where he lived in the Vishnu temple. He would every day jump into the Ganges and take a bath, and then worship Lord Vishnu, sing songs on Vishnu, chant the names of Vishnu, and study the scriptures. He lived in saintly association. All his impurities were washed away completely, performing pure spiritual activities. 12 years he did that. After the 12 years, you find in the picture, same Vishnudutas came and told Ajamila, Ajamila, now you have become a pure devotee. We are going to take you back home, back to Godhead now. And they have come now. So this appears in the 6th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, you will see them. Which means when we all become purified, we also can return back to Godhead when you become fully purified. This is another version. This is the elephant chanting.
कौसल्या सुप्रजा राम पूर्वा संध्या प्रवर्तते उत्तिष्ठ नरशार्दूल कर्तव्यं दैवमान्तिकम् कौसल्या सुप्रजा राम पूर्वा संध्या प्रवर्तते उत्तिष्ठ नरशार्दूल कर्तव्यं.
Yeah. So, as you saw, many of you may be aware of this. This Gajendra picture which I showed you in the previous slide, Gajendra is an elephant, isn't it? So he was actually Gaja Indra means he was the king of elephants in that area called Trikuta Parvat. Many elephants were staying together. But he was the leader of not only elephants, he was leader of even lions and tigers also. He was a very mighty elephant. When he would walk, the whole earth would vibrate. So, but one day when he went with all his relatives and friends to the lake to play in the waters, sport in the waters, his leg was caught by a crocodile very firmly. And that was a traumatic situation for him. Because nobody could save him. He looked around, nobody could help. They were pulling his tail from behind. None of the elephants had the courage to enter into water because they thought that we would be caught by other crocodiles. They were also afraid. So nobody could save him. Then he looked up at the sky, and as you saw in the previous picture, he cried out tears. But one good thing had happened with this elephant. In his previous life, he was a Pandya Raja in Tamil Nadu. He was one Pandya Raja, and he had gone to one place called Kutralam, one place where he would, in his retired stage, I think it was 60 plus, Vanaprastha stage. He went there and he was doing chanting and meditation. He was a good devotee. But one mistake he did. There was one Agastya Rishi along with his disciples came he was a little careless in guest reception. He was not getting up. See, when a guest comes to your home, you should immediately get up, go to the door, welcome them, offer them a seat, give them a cup of water, and smile and speak some sweet words to them. It is said that even if you have nothing in your house, at least you should give a small mat to sit and a cup of water. Even if that is not there, you should loudly cry and tell the guest that, sorry, I have nothing to offer you, please forgive me. Isn't it? But he was a little inattentive in his guest reception, because of which Agastya Rishi said, "Oh king, you are so dull. I curse you to become a dull animal," he said. So which is the dull animal he became? Elephant, yeah. Next life he became an elephant. And although he became an elephant, in this traumatic situation, the remembrance of his devotional activities in the previous life came back to his mind, in the traumatic situation. So all the shlokas he started speaking after that. Evam yavasito buddhya samadhaya manohridi jajapa paramam japyam pragjanmani anushikshitam. See, pragjanmani means the purva janma. Whatever he had learned, those shlokas came to mind. See, what is the disease? Is it Alzheimer disease, they call it, where people forget everything? In ISKCON, we have many examples. 3-4 examples we have in ISKCON. People who got Alzheimer disease, old people who are 85, 90, they have forgotten everything except the Mahamantra. They're remembering Hare Krishna mantra, and they're remembering their initiated names. There are people. Because the chanting of the mantra goes deep into the heart, and it also goes with you to the next life also. He remembered even the shlokas. He remembered so beautifully. He tells, Ekantino yasyana kanchanartham vanchanti evai bhagavat prapannaha atyadbhutam tacharitam sumangalam gayanta ananda samudramagna. He is praising the Lord, praising devotion service, praising the devotees. So many verses he speaks. They are all coming from the Purva Janma remembrance. And Lord Vishnu is coming in the sky, as you saw. He came and he saw Vishnu. Till then, he didn't remember the name of Vishnu. He remembered that there is one God who is the source of the entire universe. He may be called by different names. In different religions, people call him as Jehovah, Allah, Krishna, Rama, many names. But there is one supreme person. Just like the sun is called by different names. You call us Surya, Suraj, Tinakar, or Bhaskar, Ravi, so many names. So he also did not remember the name of the Lord. But he said, oh, the source of everyone and everything. Oh Lord, the most compassionate one, most kind one, like that he called it. When Lord came in the sky, he remembered his name. Narayana, Akila Guru, Bhagavan Namaste. Oh Lord Narayana, I bow down to you, he said that time. So in this way, so 2 pastimes I told you. Now in that, one more thing. See the crocodile. Who was the crocodile? In the previous life, this fellow was one Gandharva whose name was Huhu. So this Gandharva was one day sporting in the water. See, sometimes when you have nothing to do, we tend to become frivolous. That's one problem. So he became a little frivolous. So when sage Deval Rishi came in the water to performing Gayatri, so this frivolous Gandharva Huhu went below the water and started tickling his feet. Sage was wondering, hey, who is that? Is it a fish or something? And he saw, and there was the Gandharva joking, playing with him. So the sage said, hey, you have lost your sober behavior. You have lost gravity. I think you need to be taught a good lesson. So he told him, you become a crocodile, he told him. Because you are playful in the water, so you become a crocodile. So he became crocodile. See, the crocodile's tendency to catch the feet is not gone. First he was catching whose feet? Devala Rishi's feet. Now he is catching Gajendra's feet. That means the tendencies in our life also come from previous life to this life. Similarly, Gajendra was little dull in the previous life, not attentively receiving Agastya. Now the same Gajendra again was dull in getting caught in the crocodile, caught by the crocodile in the waters. Correct, no? So we will see that even all of us, some of us are angry people, some of us are greedy people, some of us are good-natured people, some of us are like flexible, some of us are rigid, some of us may be arrogant, some of us may be humble. So these scripts are coming from the previous life stored in the mind. So now why God has given us one more opportunity? Okay, you couldn't cleanse that in the previous life, now you can cleanse it. And if you don't cleanse it now, then take one more body. He is very kind. He will give you millions of bodies if you want to do the homework of cleansing so that you can go from the material plane to the spiritual plane. In spiritual plane, living beings are all completely pure. In the spiritual world, they have no propensity for enjoying independent of God. And they never envy one another. And they consider every devotee to be better than themselves. And they are always in a mood of service and not in a mode of exploitation. And they are always God-centered. So when we acquire those sublime, pure, transcendental qualities, then we also go back to the spiritual world. So on what basis the soul is awarded the next body? God says that. Please repeat. Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam tyajatyante kalevaram tam tameva iti kaunteya sada tad bhava bhavitah. Yeah, whatever state of being one remembers when he quits this body, that state he will attain without fail. Krishna says. Actually, we will remember, see, all the whole life, the way we have lived our life, that will accumulate together and produce a particular thought at the time of death. And that type of body we will get. See, Prahlad has a divine nature. And Hiranyakashipu had a demoniac nature, you will see that. These two natures are seen in this world. Similarly, we have to cultivate the divine assets, Daivi Sampat, like Prahlad. Then we have a very bright future. But if we cultivate demoniac qualities, then we suffer. See, based on what desires you have stored in your mind and what good karma, bad karma account you have, based on that. For example, say you want to purchase a pant or shirt, you go to a shop. They will take you to one section and say, these pants are 5,000 rupees each, if they say like that. So you may not be able to pay. You may say, oh, I only have 1,000. Then they will take you to another place, correct? No? Then they will take you to another division. In the same manner, you should not only have desire, but you also should deserve. Somebody may say, next lifetime I desire to become a billionaire. But then do you have sukriti, punya for that? If you have punya, then only you can become, otherwise not. See here, somebody is a lusty fellow, he becomes a dog. Somebody is a lazy fellow, he becomes a polar bear. Somebody is an envious person, he becomes a snake. Somebody is exposing his body all the time, he becomes a tree. Somebody is eating meat and drinking wine, then he becomes a carnivorous creature like a lion or a tiger. So you can see the mentality. The mentality brings the next body. Whatever mentality we cultivate. See, the mentality is gradually already preparing the next body. For example, you want to construct a house. First, you will bring the bricks, cement, grinding mortar, reinforced parts, correct, no? Materials you bring. Gradually, the house will come. First, you make a blueprint, and then you get the materials. Then you erect the house. Same way, right now, we all are preparing the blueprint for the next body. It's a very scientific phenomenon, it is. Like for example, the more you are cultivating devotional, your mind becomes imbued with very devotional activities. You are preparing to go back to Godhead. But if you are going to indulge in activities which are degrading to soul, then we are preparing to take another body. See here, polar bear. Yeah. This is Gajendra I was telling you. But Gajendra offered prayer and he was he was awarded a Vishnu Duta body. Here you see, and then he was taken back home, back to Godhead. Yeah. See here. See, this is a pastime. Draupadi serves Krishna instantly by tying a strip of cloth from her sari. This is one pastime you are seeing in the video. Once, when Krishna took the knife and cut some fruits, immediately the finger was cut, there was a slight bleeding, and Draupadi immediately came running. She took the end of her sari, she tore, and immediately she tied. She rendered that service. See, Krishna told her, today, Draupadi, I am indebted to you And when the time comes, I will pay you back for each and every thread. He says that. And you know that when Draupadi was disrobed by Dushasana, shamelessly in the public assembly, to strip her naked, at the time she called out Krishna's names, and Krishna supplied her unlimited saree. So why I showed this? Because we should know that even if you give a small piece of cloth for Krishna, Krishna will give so much in return. If you take one step, he will take 1,000 steps towards you. You can see that. Here's the example of another Bharat Maharaj who went to forest for a spiritual purpose, but he got diverted. Even we all have experience, like we want to chant Hare Krishna in the morning, but then we get distracted by the smartphone. Some beep sound comes or some call comes. Similarly, he got diverted, and because of remembering the deer, remembering the deer at the time of death, he became a deer in the next life. So is it not a demotion? Some of you may have a question. He went to forest to become a Krishna devotee. Why did Krishna do this to him? Any of you know this pastime? Bharat Maharaj going to forest and practicing devotion service. Actually, a deer's child was drowning in the water. He picked it up and then he raised it and cared for it. But then in the course of doing it, he became attached to it. And then he forgot his devotional duties. He became careless. And the next time he became a deer. So, how many of you already heard about this? He became a deer. You all know about it, yeah. So now my question to you, why did Krishna not protect him? How did Krishna allow him to become a deer? He allowed him to become an animal in the next life. Somebody may ask, but one most important thing, although he got the body of deer, he remembered the previous life. And then he left his birthplace and went to Kalanjara mountain was his birthplace. He left the place and went to Pulahashrama to associate with saintly people. He ate only dry grass. He heard the Krishna Katha. So in that life, he perfected his life. Next life, he became Jadabharta and then went back to Godhead. You will see that. Which means even if you do mistake as a devotee, Lord gives you remembrance and brings you back to Him. That's the lesson from the past time. So how do we become strong in our devotion service? Hearing is important, but practical application is the most important thing. Only then it will be possible to remember the Lord constantly. So Krishna says that those who remember me at the time of death will come back to me, but for remembering Him, we have to hear about Him. Like today you're all hearing, you heard about Ajamila, at the time of death remembered Krishna. You heard about Gajendra Moksha. So now if you study these things elaborately from Bhagavatam, you heard about Bharat Maharaj. So by hearing these pastimes, gradually our remembrance of the Lord also will increase. Yeah. And then also with chanting Hare Krishna also. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. This is I will tell more about this tomorrow. This is a very, very powerful purifying agent. It removes the impurities in the heart and makes the heart conducive for advancing in spiritual life very fast. Please repeat this verse. Natad bhasayate suryo na shashanko na pavakaha yad gatvana nivartante tadhama paramam mama. The supreme abode of mind is not illumined by sun or moon, nor by fire or electricity. Those who reach it never return to this material world. You see, before coming to ISKCON Society, in my school days, I studied the Bible for about 5 years. Some 30-40 courses I did in Bible correspondence course. So in one of the courses on Genesis and John and Luke and Mark and Corinthians, Revelations, like that, I used to do different courses I used to do. In one course, I came across one profound statement. The statement said that Jesus says, my Father's abode has many mansions and it is not lit up by sun or moon. He says that in Bible also. So there he uses the word mansions. That means my Father's abode has many mansions. Same thing Brahma says in Brahma Samhita. Chintamani pragara sadmasugalpa vriksha laksha vriteshu surabhi radipalayantam. Sadmasu means mansion. He says that the spiritual world has many mansions, like Nanda Bhavan is one of the mansions, buildings, palaces. And also it is not lit by sun or moon, he says. Here also Krishna says the same thing. There is no need of sun or moon because everybody's body is like effulgent there. That itself is light emanating there, he says. So the spirit souls in spiritual world, they have great joy in loving service of the Lord. And I'll tell more about this tomorrow. You will find just like Hanuman serves Lord Rama with great love. Similarly, Vijayabasis serve Krishna with great affection. The spiritual world is a world of love. So, and Krishna doesn't say that you should give up your prescribed duties or engagements. He says that you, whatever profession you have, you do it, but along with chanting Hare Krishna. So, the law of karma, I have explained it in a very simple manner in this fourth part. You can see in this world, somebody is beautiful, somebody is ugly. It's an observable phenomenon. Feel here? Somebody is floating in money, somebody is poverty stricken. You find somebody healthy and strong, somebody is weak and diseased also. So in this way, the simple reactions come. Purva janma arjita punyam agri davati davati. The same manner, purva janma arjita papam agri davati davati means whatever you have done in the previous life, the results of that comes in the next life. Just like one full month you work in a company, the paycheck comes at the end of the month. Correct, no? Similarly, the paycheck for your good and bad deeds comes in the next life. So these people have done something due to which they got this kind of terrible, situation. But there is also, and these people got punya. So should we do pious actions or sinful actions? So naturally you may say pious action. But if you do pious action, you have to come in this world to reap the pious results also. Again, there's a third action which is beyond pious and impious, beyond both. That's called spiritual. I'll tell about that. Yeah, Krishna says this. See, the soul wanders in multiple bodies based on his desires and good karma, bad karma. It goes into multiple, innumerable bodies. Yeah. Actually, human body is the junction from where the soul can either go to higher bodies or lower body. It can go to Devata body or it can go to animal kingdom also. You see, as you sow, so shall you reap. Every action has a reaction. This is a law of karma. See, for example, here you find instant karma. One fellow gives a slap, another fellow immediately gives a slap. Karma has come back immediately. See, some karma may be delayed. If you, if you put a seed in the ground and water, it takes years to grow to get apples. It's delayed. Okay. So there are two parts. You can be responsible, or one can be irresponsible. So one is these are degrading sinful activities called vikarma. In Sanskrit we call it as vikarma, especially 4 things. You can remember gimme, G-I-M-I. Gambling, intoxication, meat eating, illicit sex. 4 activities. These are mentioned as sinful activities and these are degrading activities. One should give them up. And these are pious activities. For example, here you find in the bottom, they are doing some voluntary work. They are giving some donation to poor, sick and needy people. Or they are doing some Lakshmi Puja, they are doing some yajna to go to heaven. So these are all pious activities. In this there are 2 categories. One is religion related, another one is selfless service. So if you do selfless mundane service, you get the results in this world only. For example, if you give school children some notebooks, next life you will be a printing press owner. If you give uniforms to them, next life you will be a textile mill owner. Or if you are giving water to people in hot summer, next life you may be born near a riverside or something like that. Or if you do puja like this, yajna and all, you may go to heaven. But ultimately heaven, hell and earth, everything is within the material realm only. Therefore, even doing pious activities is not the ultimate. We have this is called karma and that was called vikarma. But there's something called akarma. A karma, you see. What is it? These are devotional activities which will take us beyond this world to the spiritual world. See, in all the religions, take Islam, Christianity, Sikhism, Jainism, all of them talk about the spiritual world beyond heaven and hell. Heaven and hell are in this world only. So there's an eternal world. We should go to that eternal world. And that is easily possible if you align all our activities to Krishna's teachings. Here you see, you would say remembering Krishna. It's called akarma. See, this I already told you. I'm showing it again. So austerities like chanting Hare Krishna, doing Sankirtan, reading Bhagavad Gita, association of saintly people. Then you go to the supreme destination. These are all activities connected to Supreme Lord directly. So I told you, remember this ABCD, correct? These are the ones I told you. These are all elevating spiritual activities. Because by doing these activities, gradually God becomes the pivot of your life. That's the difference between being pious and being spiritual. See, pious person is who, like, he goes to temple and says, oh God, please pass me in the exam. God passes. Oh God, please place me in a good job. He got a good job. Oh God, please get me married. He got married. Oh God, after marriage, 5 years have passed, no child, please give a child. You got a child. Now you stop going to temple because there is no problem now. After 15 minutes are over, then you'll go to temple and say, oh God, please give an engineering seat to my son. Again he will pray. Please pass him. Please give him a job. So pious people actually are I-centered. I-centered. They think God can supply all my needs. They are called pious materialists. But spiritualist means he is God-centered. The spiritualist wants to know, where does Krishna live? What is the spiritual abode? And what does he do? How can I go there? So these kind of activities. Who is his mother, Yashoda? Who is his father? What are his leelas, pastimes? So if you're thinking about the Lord, then you go there also. Whatever you are, where your mind is. If your mind is in spiritual world, you go to spiritual world. If your mind is in material world thinking, I-centered, then we come back again. So we don't want to be pious materialists. Like you can see, when we were in convent, we used to chant, oh Lord, thou art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, give us our daily bread. So asking God for bread, asking God for goods, that is not the highest religion. So we should learn love of God, about which I'll tell tomorrow more about love of God. You see, this elevates. Krishna says this. I'll finish in about 10 minutes, I'll finish, okay? Mamapetya punarjanma dukkhalayam ashashvatam napnuvanti mahatmanah samsiddhim paramam gataha. After attaining me, the great souls who are yogis in devotion never return to this temporary world, Arjun, which is full of miseries because they have attained the highest perfection. Krishna says that by becoming a properly situated devotee, like you see this devotee is going from black zone is the material zone. From material world to spiritual world is going, correct? Saying that, yeah. So this is the last part. Why can't the material objects make us happy in this world? Because the whole world is chasing after only material things, correct? No? So if you know this, then you will know that the 3 reasons are given in the Bhagavad Gita. The material objects are changeable and perishable. They all undergo duality and they're relative. I'll show you what it is. Changeable and perishable means you will see that, say you are attracted to gulab jamuns, for example. After some time, it stops giving you pleasure because the taste buds become flat. You can't eat 10, 20, stomach will pain also. There's a limit. And not only that, chewing gum is having a nice flavor in the beginning. Eventually, it loses its flavor. Correct now. Similarly, imagine somebody gives you a very nice gift pack on your birthday, nicely put with a wrapper and everything. You tear the wrapper and see it's a clock. And then you turn it this way, that way, and then you throw it in a corner. No more attraction. But before opening, there is attraction. But after opening, there is no more attraction for that. In the same manner, anything that is new, we all are attracted. Like when I got my bicycle from my father first time, I was taking the cycle and going on a playground for 2 hours, going round and round. Father asked, it's meant to be used for the school. Why are you just playing with it? Because when it is new, we are very fond of it, correct? But does that attraction remain after 6 months? It doesn't remain. And in this way, familiarity comes in the things and people of the world eventually. So that means the objects are changeable. For example, if a boy and girl, when they marry, initially there's attraction, but eventually they have to become spiritual minded. Otherwise, what will happen when they become 40, 50, 60? Then the bodily shapes and the beauty is not going to remain. As they grow, wrinkles will come, jet black hair will turn into white hair, tooth will one by one go away. So therefore, one should not be attracted only to the superficial material bodies. But if they both become spiritually advanced, they know I am not the body, I am my soul, and you are not the body, you are spirit soul, and we both are devotees. With that proper understanding, they can lead a happy life even after they become 80 or 90 also, because they know the purpose of life. Secondly, the whole world is built on the principle of duality. If I ask you, is it good to have a own house or a rented house? What would you say? Let us say, how many of you prefer a own house? Here raise a hand. Okay, there are a good number. Okay. How many of you prefer a rented house? There are also people. And both the groups will have their reasons. Correct, no? Because you agree that both of them have their pros and cons. Correct, no? See, if it is a own house, if it is water is coming, leaking, I only have to repair it. If it is a rented house, I can leave this house and go to another house. Correct, no? That advantage you have. But the problem with the rented house is you have a term after which that fellow will ask you to vacate. Whereas in own house, nobody will tell you to vacate. So you will find in this world, duality means everything has pleasure, pain coming together in this world. That's the problem. You want which one? You want pleasure or you want pain? Yeah, we all want pleasure. Similarly, honor and dishonor, which one you want? Honor, yeah. So we want honor, we want pleasure, but it comes together. You will see that. Like you become a famous person, for example. Somebody will praise you, somebody will pull your leg also. Correct, no? Yeah. Now you get a lot of money. That money will sometimes can make you happy, but money also has danger also. Correct, no? Yeah, and the last thing is, this world is relative. What is the meaning of relative? Actually, like, I want a bicycle now. If I get a bicycle, by the time I get the bicycle, then I want a, bike. When I get a bike, then I want a car. If I have a car, I want a bigger car. If I have a bigger car, I want my own chartered plane. So you will see that, we always want something better. Like mobile also. I have one model mobile. Initially, I'm very happy, but then I see some other model, better mobile. I want to go. That's the meaning of relative. Relative means there is always something else which has better looks and more options, facilities and all. And below I have shown you 5 P's that pinch you in this world. Like if you get a position in the office, initially boys are very grateful. Oh, I never thought company will pay me so much. I'm just graduated. Initially they are very grateful. Within 2-3 years, you will see the gratitude will be gone. They'll compare with others and say, hey, he is in that position. If I get the promotion, I will get more money as well as more control of people. In this world, always you want to get ahead. Therefore, things are relative in this world. Same with possession, people, penny. If you get penny, you want more penny. So it's a relative. But apply these 3 things on Krishna or spiritual world. Our relationship with God, Krishna, is everlasting. It is not changeable. Krishna will not change. Atma will also not change. Atma and God both are imperishable, unchangeable. There are no dualities in spiritual world. There is only sukha. There is no dukkha in the spiritual world. It's not like the material world. It's a anandambudi vardhanam pratipadam purnamrita. It's a ever-expanding happiness, it is said. And the third one is what I told you, relative. God is not relative, God is absolute. Therefore, his name is absolute truth, we call him. Everything else is relative. Because this is a very big subject, I'm not explaining here. One line I'll tell you, his beauty, for example, his beauty is oceanic beauty. Whereas in the material world, also people are beautiful, but the beauty gradually fades away in this world. Strength also in the material world, people who are weight-lifted, the strength gradually will get reduced as they get older. Whereas God's strength and beauty and knowledge and fame, it will never deteriorate. So in this world, the opulences are like a glowworm, whereas Lord's opulences are like a sun. Glowworm can show off in the night, but in front of the sun, glowworm has no value. So therefore, if you go to spiritual world, you will be completely satisfied. Thank you very much. I could complete it. It was a little longer session on karma. So 5 sections I did. The first one was about happiness. So I can take 5 minutes, some question if anybody had. Was it clear to everybody? I'll just show you the titles. What are the 5 titles I did? First one was, where can we find true happiness, correct? I did that first. About different type of happiness. Spiritual happiness is the everlasting happiness. Others are mundane happiness, they're finished sooner or later. So we saw about that, spiritual happiness. Then we said about human beings' difference from animal. Then we went to the second point, why am I suffering? Actually, what is suffering and why am I suffering? 2 things we answered. So there are, anybody remembers what are the 4 problems of life? Real problems? Yeah. There? What? Yeah. Yeah. Disease and old age, correct. Yeah. So those 4. And then what are the 3-fold miseries? Adi? Yeah. Or you don't have to tell the Sanskrit names, you can tell the meanings of them. By body and mind, other living entities, natural calamities, yeah. So these are the 4 plus 3, 7 I told you, miseries. These are the sufferings. But why are we suffering? And that was explained here, if you see, as we go ahead. That is explained later in this. Because actually, we all have, there's a pure plane, there's an impure plane. About this, I'm going to explain tomorrow more. The impure plane means, somebody came and asked me yesterday, God only created everything, why did he create bad? They asked this question. You see, when you look at the sun, there is no shadow in the sun. But when you turn away from the sun, you see the shadow. Similarly, when we are all looking towards God, we never behave bad. We behave very purely. But when we show our back to him, then only we behave bad. And that's where the problem starts. And then we commit sin. The simple definition of sin is disobedience to God. Disobedience to God means sin. So by disobedience, then we suffer in this world. That's the main reason for suffering. When we commit sin, we suffer, and then we gradually learn over a period of time. So we showed you about reincarnation, different bodies you take. Then I gave you 2 examples for that. What was Ajamila's mistake due to which Yamadutas came? What was his mistake? Anybody remembers? Ajamil, what mistake he did?
He got involved in a lot of illicit activities.
Illicit activities. That was the trouble.
He forgot he forgot what he was learned from his last life.
Correct. Yeah. He gave up the dharma. And that is how he complicated his life. And the reason for the suffering of Ajamila is his own sinful activities. But then how he was saved from that situation? By the chanting of the holy name of Narayana. And then I told you about Gajendra. What was the mistake Gajendra did? Anybody remembers? Yeah.
He didn't take care of the guest properly.
He was careless in dealing with the guest. And what was the mistake of the crocodile in the previous life? What? He was frivolous and playful, correct? No? Correct, yeah. So in this way, we all find that we commit some mistakes because of turning away from God. And by those mistakes, we incur sin and then suffering. And God gives us multiple lifetimes to gradually purify our heart and come to the pure plane. And once we are purified, then we go back home, back to Godhead. Is that clear to everybody? So that's what we discussed. And then Krishna says about at the time of death. So I told about divine and demoniac, I told you. And I told you how the living being get different bodies based on mentality. That was the important thing we learned, correct? Different mentalities bring forth different bodies. At the same time, you shouldn't think God is a cruel person. He is making us suffer in so many lifetimes. No, he's a very powerful reciprocator. He came and saved Gajendra and took him back to Vaikuntha. Similarly, how Krishna reciprocated with Draupadi. She just gave a small strip of cloth and Krishna gave her unlimited sari. Yeah. And also even in the case of Bharat Maharaj, I told you that Bharat Maharaj was, although he became a deer in the next life, there was no problem because Lord gave him remembrance. Yeah. So all that we saw, and then law of karma and working to attain freedom. Now you all learned about instant karma, delayed karma, all that pious and impious activity. So we should do pious activity or impious activity? Which one we should do? Pious? Akarma we should do. Because pious if you do, you will come again in this world. But if you do spiritual activity, one time I asked you want which one? You want iron chain or a gold chain or silver chain? So many of them said gold chain is good. You can put gold handcuffs. So what should you exactly say? Yeah, it's no chain. So no chain means you go back to Godhead. Correct now? Otherwise C class jail, B class jail, A class jail. Naraka is C class. Earth is B class and Swarga is A class. We don't want any class jail. We want to get out of this world, go back to Godhead. Yeah. So we learned about karma and then 4 regulative principles I told you, which we should not break. Sinful activities we should not do. And then spiritual activities, A, B, C, D. And then why material objects cannot make us happy? These 3 things I told you. In this world, people's bodies are changeable, perishable. Objects also are changeable, perishable. They get damaged. So we suffer. Similarly, duality, sukha dukh, manapaman. And also objects are relative. Something is always better than. Once you see Krishna eye to eye, Supreme Lord, then there is nobody better than him in beauty or strength. Like for example, in this world, if you are a Lakpati, you want to become Garadpati or Arapati, Karapati. But Krishna is what Pati? Lakshmipati. So is there anybody better than Lakshmipati? All Lakshmi is with Lakshmi only. So therefore, you will not find a better person than that. That's the way the jiva becomes satisfied completely. Tomorrow it will become even more clear. I will talk about ascending from fear to love to become more clear. So how to catch fish without getting wet? The answer is very simple. If you do akarma in this world, like I told you the example of Ambarish Maharaj, he was ruling the world. He was having golden ornaments, nice dress, he was a king, he had many queens, children, but he was not entangled. He was a devotee. He was engaging in, he would only walk the path of God. Whatever scriptures say, that's the way he conducted his life. Actually, our organization does not advocate running away from the duties. We don't advocate that. Ambarish Maharaj was the king of the world. Still he went back to Godhead. You don't have to be a monk to go back to Godhead. Or you don't have to go to Himalayas to go back to Godhead. You can live in the society, but align your activities with scriptures and gradually purify the heart and awaken love for God. Then whether you're a woman, you're a man, you're a child, everybody can go back to God. Thank you. Now it's 8:30. I have promised you that I will finish by 8:30, 7 to 8:30. We completed. Thank you very much. Tomorrow is a very important session. Tomorrow we will see Gita, what I have covered till now. G, God we covered. I, identity we covered. T, transmigration today we covered. Aim of life will become crystal clear tomorrow. That will be the 4th session. You all are welcome. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah. Suhasini, you have a question?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you so much for a wonderful presentation. I just had a very quick question.
Yeah.
So I am a student right now, and I like to tell my people that I'm a student in life too. So, and one of the questions that keeps bothering me is how to find the purpose of life.
Yeah.
And I think you would be a good person to ask that question too.
Yeah. Whatever be your profession, like you are a student now, and then eventually you will become a professional, you will work in a company or whatever. And subsequently, as you grow, when you get married, then you have children, then you will decide how you want to conduct your life. See, at any given phase of life, I will tell you a very simple formula is, Krishna says, Ma manusmara yudhyacha, he says. Remembering me, fight, he told Arjuna. So we also have to remember, and if I am a student, I have to do my studies. So what is the meaning of remembering Krishna and studying? For example, when you study well, you do your study well. Like 4 questions you can ask. Who are you? If you ask Hanuman, Hanuman will tell you, I am servant of Rama. What do you do? I only do work given by Lord Ram. How do you do your work? I do it with sincerity, dedication, commitment, and responsibility. What do you do with the fruits of the work? I give it all to Rama, because Rama has given me the brain, Rama has given me the hands and legs and eyes and everything, and Rama has given me the materials in this world to process. Therefore, I give all the results to him. So same thing with all of us. Say you are a student now, you study well, diligently, that's your duty now, and get good marks. And when you get good marks, give the credit to Krishna. Because those who are passionate people, before getting the result, they are phalakankshi, they are greedy for results. And after the results comes, they take the credit themselves. They become boastful and proud. And that is what precisely we should avoid. We should not become proud after the results comes. We should say that it's all Krishna's grace that I could get good results. He only gave me the brain. He only, gave me the direction from inside. So I am chanting Hare Krishna. So it's all His grace. That's what we should say. And same manner, when you're approaching any subject, you should pray. Like Hanuman prayed to Lord Rama, to Vayu, to Indra, to Surya, all of them, before embarking on the journey to Lanka. Similarly, you also, before beginning any good work, you make a prayer to Lord. My Lord, let this work be pleasing to you, and let this be aligned with your will. And let me, in the course of doing this work, let me not hurt the other living entities. And let me not hurt myself, not hurt others. And let it be aligned with you. Please bless me. So you can pray like that. And while doing the work, you do it with alertness and, and all the good qualities. And then after doing the work, offer the fruits to Krishna. Same thing in profession also. Because you are a devotee now, you'll be very careful not to take those professions which cause harm to other living entities. You should not join organizations which are producing liquor or cigarettes or promoting slaughter and things like that. We should avoid those companies. And you will take a job which will not go against what the Shastras are teaching. And then tomorrow, after doing your profession for a while, when you get married, you have 1 or 2 children, then you want to give affection as a mother for the children. Then you can decide to stop going for the job, and you may want to probably devote more time as a homemaker for the sake of your husband and children and husband's parents and things like that. So whatever role you play, you have to keep Krishna in the center. And along with that duty, most important thing is side by side, you have to prepare for going back to Godhead by studying the scriptures. ABCD you should do. Associate with saintly people, at least once in a week, go for a program like what we are doing now. And also read Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam. Chant Hare Krishna every day, fixed number of rounds, about which I'll tell tomorrow. And D means both deity worship and diet. Worship the deity form of the Lord and also take Krishna Prasadam diet. And E means etiquettes and engagements. Etiquettes means behave properly with equals, seniors, juniors, everybody. And engagement, seva engagement. If you do these things, you are perfectly situated. You have nothing to worry. Is that clear?
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
I have one more question, just one more question.
Yeah.
So you mentioned about having that kind of greediness in material life. So if you have a bicycle, you want a car. And if you have a car, you want a bigger car. So that the same thing applies for professional life as well. And
correct.
While we are starting to become more Krishna conscious, we start to realize that greediness and kind of jumping into the next best thing in the material world is not a good thing to do. And
actually,
in that case,
I won't say it's not a good thing. I would say that you can have ambition, but not over ambition.
Right.
There's a difference. See, there is a big difference. When you go from need to greed, you bleed, it is said. Which means, like, for example, if I have a Maruti car, I was giving this example, 80 kilometers per hour, you can run it. But if you're running the car at 125 or 150 regularly, the car will get worn out, right? Similarly, for example, if you are working in a company for say 10 hours, 11 hours max, say you're earning some X amount of money. Now company tells you they work for 15 hours and we'll give you more money. If you're going for that, you are actually compromising on your family duty. You are also compromising on your health. You are also going to compromise on your relationships with friends. And you are also compromising on your leisure. You are compromising on entertainment. You are also compromising on spiritual life. You are foregoing so many different areas just for making money, 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 money is honey. Then it is called over ambition. Is that clear?
Yes.
So therefore,
So
you should give due time for everything. At least three things are there prominently in your life: your family duties, professional duty, devotional duty. And fourth one is leisure, and fifth one is entertainment. And those things come later. But these three are very prominent: family, and profession and devotion. So divide your time properly between these three, and then you are a balanced person. Then you are not over ambitious. Because nowadays, we see other people and we also want to imitate them in joining the rat race. And that's what makes our life miserable. And imagine you become irritated always because of getting into a stressful mode. Is it good? Instead, keep a balance. If you keep a balance of these three, then you will be happy, you'll make the family members happy, your devotional service will go on well. At some point of time, you have to agree that my God has given me a certain type of bodily makeup. It has a limitation. I told you, I'm like a Maruti car, somebody else is like a Benz car, somebody is like a Lamborghini. I can't imitate the other bodily makeups. It's based on my good karma, bad karma. God has given me, put me in a certain type of rigid situation. Let me not have over ambition. Maruti to run like Lamborghini means it is what? Greed. It is. That's what I was telling. So many times nowadays, it's a global village, we call it. The whole world is shrunk now by communication media. Therefore, we compare people in different parts of the world and we become too greedy actually. Earlier, the villages, people were very satisfied within one village. Now everybody compares with everybody in other part of the world. People put something in the Facebook and say, how many likes came, how many likes she got or he got. So we should not burn ourselves like that. Burn out ourselves.
So my question was how to practice non-attachment in a sense of competition. So not comparing
chant Hare Krishna. See, chanting Hare Krishna requires patience, tolerance, humility, devotion. So when you cultivate these qualities while chanting Hare Krishna, same qualities will come in your material life also. You will get a balance very easily. You chant Hare Krishna, how many rounds you chant?
I want to say 108.
108 times you do every day?
I am aiming. I'm not able to do 108, but I'm aiming to do 108.
Okay. So tomorrow I will also give some time for chanting 108 times. Tomorrow we will all do together. So you will see that. So chanting is a very, very important act. Chanting is our link with God. If we don't chant, we are disconnecting from God, I can say. It's a very important activity. So if you're chanting, I can tell you all good qualities will come to you, and Lord in your heart will guide you on how to balance your life. And you will not go to the zone of greed. For prayas, we will not do that. All right?
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. Shri Prabhupada ki.
Prabhuji, can you mute it, Prabhu? Can you mute it?
I'm muted.
Okay, Hare Krishna. Okay, Hare Krishna. I think we request some of the devotees to post their numbers here so that we can add you into one of the groups later after this program. Once the session ends here tomorrow, so we are going to create one more group. So Suhasini Mataji, maybe if you can put your number in the chat, that will be good.
Also, email.
Yes, yeah.
Email address and number.
Yeah, email address and number. If you can put it, we can add you into another group. Immediately after that, we're going to start a new group, and there'll be a series of activities. So this is just a beginning. So there are other things which are lined up now after this one. So Ranjan Mataji, would you like to just and introduce yourself. Raja Prabhu. Hello, Ranjan. You are on mute if you're speaking, so we do not know. It is good to
Yes, Prabhuji, are you able to hear me?
Yeah, yes, Ranjan. Yes, we can hear.
Yes, Prabhuji, yes. My name is Ranjan Behera. I am regularly coming to Boston ISKCON Temple. And whenever I'm getting opportunity, I'm attending virtual classes like this.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you. Thank you for that. Okay, Raja Prabhu.
Thank you.
You have been attending, I think, for past 2 days. So would you like to introduce yourself so that we know? Hare Krishna, Raja Prabhu. Raja? Oh, you're on mute. Okay.
We have presented Today was third day, so tomorrow is the last day of the seminar.
Pranit?
Seminar. So we hope to see you tomorrow as well. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna, Pranit. Hari Bol. Pranit?
Yes, Hare Krishna Guruji.
Hare Krishna, Pranit. Yeah. Can you just introduce yourself so that we know
yes,
who you are?
Yes, I have actually attended a few sessions of Shri Radheshyam Prabhuji, and I believe this is.
Where are you from? Are you from Boston?
I'm from California, actually.
Oh, okay. Oh, thank you. Prabhu, yeah, would you mind just sending your phone number and email ID just in case?
Yes, Prabhuji, I think I sent you my phone number. I will send you my email address as well.
Okay. Thank you, Pranit. Yeah, okay. Okay.
Prabhuji, this is Ranjan Behera. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, you can also send, Prabhu. Please send.
I think I already provided my email address and phone number.
Okay.
I'm getting all the communication from ISKCON Boston. So I should be fine, right?
Yeah, but it's good you send it, that Ranjan Behera, so that we know it is. Because, you have joined this one. So we have a subsequent, the immediate, program, immediate, the course, which is following this particular course. So then it will be easy for us to send an email or message to all the students who have joined this course. Yeah. So please.
Thank
you. Hare Krishna,
Suman
Mataji. Yeah, thank you. Hare Krishna, Suman Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Yes, I should be already in the list, but I've been with the Krishna conscious for a couple of years, and I've been listening to YouTube talks. So I'm in Hopkinton. I'll send the email and my phone number.
Oh, you're from Hopkinton. Okay, wow.
Yes.
Can you, Mataji, can you send an email, a phone number and your email ID, because we are having in Hopkinton, we are having a program where
Yes.
Prabhu's.
Right.
Yeah.
I have the flyer actually. I will be attending.
Oh, you already got that flyer? Okay. Yeah, we just have that.
Yes.
So mind please sending us an email. Your phone number and then your email ID.
Sure, I'll do that.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. And we also have Aarti Mataji. Hare Krishna. Hare Bol. Aarti Mataji.
I am from Shrewsbury.
Oh, okay. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
I actually Ranga Devi Dasi. I don't know. Her full name is that. Actually, she started a kids session for Ramayana moral classes. Through that, I got to know. I attended all 2 classes from last 2 days. I like it very much. Like the classes are going very well because I have watched many courses in YouTube also, but this is very like scientifically also they're through PPTs and all they're explaining very good. I like it very much.
Last. Okay, so can you give your email ID and phone number here?
Should I have to send through chat?
Yeah, send it through chat so that we have everything in the chat.
Okay, thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. How do I get to chat? Okay, I think that's about it. Thank you, everybody. Thanks, Sam. Thanks, Rajpuri. There is one Zoom user. Would you like to introduce you? This last time. Hare Krishna, Zoom user. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah. No, Sam, not you. I'm just talking about the Zoom user. There is one Zoom user, so I'm just trying to get introduced to him. Zoom user. If you don't introduce yourself, then and if you don't pass on your email IDs and phone numbers, then it will be difficult for us to send you the further announcements to you. Okay. Thank you, dear devotees. We appreciate that. Ajita Mataji, Arti Mataji, Arun Prabhu, Rajkoti Prabhu, Sam Prabhu, Suhasini Mataji. Thank you. We will see you tomorrow again at the same time. Okay. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Okay. Hey, Prabhu, can you take a picture of this? Because once I log out, then everything will go. Either you take a picture or you do this. Okay, I'll take this. Don't miss anything.
What's the WhatsApp पर माझा नंबर आहे. Oh, okay. चालेल मग मेसेज तुला हाच WhatsApp 802 हा जो नंबर आहे ना. Yes, please. You know, I didn't lose weight. I'm trying. I want to lose weight. No. Sorry. Okay. Oh, what is this? This is Kaja halwa, kind of kheer. Is that what they are putting in the yeah, glass? You want glass? I'll take one. Okay. Yeah. You will be such kind of an animal in that kind of thing. Okay.
Yeah, how did you come to know this about this event?
So the group WhatsApp that pin down.
No. I was just curious. I was just curious, like, how did it come? I think that's make it more casually. I'm just asking.
Yes, sir. Do you want me to?
How did you come to know?
My friend.
Oh. The principal was there, right? We got some mail or something. Event, right? That day we got.
You missed last yesterday.
Yesterday, I had class.
Tomorrow?
Tomorrow, I guess. Pardon?
Hey, Ikra.
మీరేం చేసుకుంటారు?
నేను ఉద్యోగం చేస్తాను, ప్రాజెక్ట్ మేనేజర్.
ఓకే.
I think ఇది వాలంటరీ. కూర్చో వాలంటరీ చేస్తాను. ఇంట్రెస్ట్ నీకు ఇంట్రెస్ట్ నీకు కొంచెం ఇంట్రెస్ట్ దేవుడు అనగా గుడు అన గుడ్లు అంటే
మా డాడీ ఫుల్ ఇంట్లో అంటే వాళ్ళు చాలా సో ప్రతి దగ్గర చాలా అంటే చాలా ఇక్కడ ఏమంటారు మాస్టర్ చిన్నప్పటి నుంచి ఇంకా అలవాటు అయిపోయింది.
గుడ్లు వెళ్తావా మామూలుగా?
మా ఇంటి ఆపోజిట్ అయినా వెళ్ళాను ఇప్పుడు. అది మొత్తం పొద్దున్న లేస్తేనే
దేవుడు అంటే దేవుడికి అడుగుతాయి దేవుడు దేవుడు ఏమి చేస్తావు ఇట్లా?
నేను ఏదో అవసరానికి అడుగుతుంటే అనిపిస్తుంది. అంటే ఏమో ఏదైనా కావాల్సినప్పుడు వెళ్ళి అడగడం కంటే ఎందుకు అట్లా నా థాట్. ఇప్పుడు న్యూట్రల్ ఉండాలి, ఎప్పుడు అవసరం ఉన్నా లేకపోతే కాన్స్టెంట్ ఉండాలి అన్నమాట.
పర్లేదు, నేను అడుగుతున్నా. దేవుడు నువ్వు దేవుడు దేవుడు అంటే ఇది చేస్తావు, అడుగుతావా దేవుడు దేవుడు
అడిగింది ఒకటే ఒకటి, ఈ ప్రపంచం ఎలా పుట్టింది ఇంకేం అడగలేదు. నాకు అంటే దేవుడు నాకు ఉండేది కాదు ఫస్ట్లో కూడా. తర్వాత అంటే లైఫ్ నాకు ఎక్కువ పెద్దగా ఇబ్బంది కలగలేదు. తర్వాత జాబ్ జాయిన్ అయినాక బ్యాక్ టు బ్యాక్ 2-3 ఇన్స్టెన్సెస్ చాలా హర్ట్ అయ్యాను. హర్ట్ అయినప్పుడు అప్పటి నుంచి కొంచెం పూజ అప్పుడు చేశాను. చేసేదాన్ని ఐ వాంటెడ్ టు నో వాట్ ఇస్ ఈ కష్టాలు ఎందుకు వస్తుంది. బేసిక్గా నాకు అర్థం కాలేదు. కాంట్రడిక్షన్ లైఫ్లో చెప్పేది ఒకటి చేసేది ఒకటి చేస్తున్నాను. సో ఇదంతా అర్థం చేసుకోవడానికి నేను ట్రై చేసి బయట నాకు ఎక్కడ ఆన్సర్ దొరకలేదు. సో అప్పుడు మెడిటేషన్ స్టార్ట్ చేశాను. ఐ కనెక్టెడ్ మోర్ విత్ జిడ్డు కృష్ణ.
You understand Telugu? You understand Telugu? Somebody is there, so you can understand. Yeah. That's good. It's a good beginning actually. Yeah. At least some inquisitive mind is there. No?
Yeah.
We have this course specifically designed for the youths. Quite often what happens, we think that everything is going from fine, good in our lives. Okay, there is nothing to worry about it. What is it like? If you see, like everything is in front of us. Good career is in front of us. We are in the United States, one of the most developed countries in the world. Okay, good career is up, like jobs are awaiting in front of us. So what do we have? We have nice friends around us, surrounded by nice friends. Yeah. So life is full of enjoyment. Isn't this is what we feel that, isn't it? Yeah. But our friend has a different experience. And I'm so glad to hear that. Like, that's so nice, actually. Yeah. That's the beginning of you can say that beginning of an enlightenment. Where he's having this question, like this question is that like why this? He's saying that like, kashtal, why there are like so much of suffering around. So he was asking. He was having that question. Yeah. That question comes when not everybody can go through that. Okay. Since there are some people who go through something and then they learn from it. There are some people.
They don't ask why. Usually people don't ask why. They just blame it on somebody else.
Correct.
Or if I do any mistake, I either justify it or say something because of that I did it. But I never asked why did I do this.
Yeah.
What was it? I could have done something else, but why did I do this?
Yeah, correct.
And then even with desires also, all our desires are in response to something else. We hate something else. So in moving away from it, we're going towards something else. So our desires are not absolute, purely, I like it, therefore I'm going to. Not like that.
Good.
Getting the point, right?
Good understanding.
In reaction to something else, this is our desire. Therefore, when we get that, we're not happy.
Yeah.
Right?
The reactive nature, we say that.
Correct. The smart guy. You're spot on. That's it. Yes. Reactive nature. You have to be proactive. That's correct. Exactly. You're spot on. Yeah. So what he has said is correct. So when we go through life, so we learn this thing. But however, not necessarily everybody might go through it. Somebody might have a cozy life, and a very smooth life, smoother. But that doesn't mean that we will not encounter such things. Okay. So that is why it is said that the first class intelligent is the one who learns from others' mistakes. Who learns from others' mistakes, or who learns from others' life experiences. Because we don't have to wait for us to go through that. Isn't it? We don't have to. But it may encounter us any point of time. It is not that we are not, you can say that shielded completely to all the cataclysms in the life. It is not possible at all. No one is that. We will at some point of time. Maybe our nature of problems will be different, but we will go through that in some phase of life. So that is why what we need to understand is that we should learn from others, what others have learned from their Marathi Pudcha Sthicha Maksa Shana. So this is how we learn from. Okay. So that way, that's why this Bhagavad Gita is for them, for everyone. Those whose life is going very smoothly for them, those who are going through so much difficulties, or those who have faced some problems in life, for them also they can learn. This is wisdom for all.
In fact, somebody who goes to spirituality is really somebody who is seeking happiness. See, materialistic people are also seeking happiness. But then those who want to go towards spirituality is somebody who realized we are not getting in this. For example, earlier back in those days, I used to feel like I should wear nice clothes, and then so the girls will look at me. I used to feel like this, so that I feel happy when they look at me. But then what happened is every time I wear good clothes and walking among crowd, constantly I keep thinking, are they watching at me? Are they watching at me? This happened for many days, and then later I realized, oh my God, what am I doing? This is giving me more than the joy that I expected that I would get when they look at me. The constant struggle of looking at me is giving me much more. So the pursuit of desire, the pursuit of happiness itself is a cause of misery for me. You understand? Therefore, what's the point in all this?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
You're right. Yeah. So we are not, in a way, we are not here to become desireless, and we also are not trying to negate anything in life. Okay, we are trying to just find the positiveness, positive side of the life. That's what we are trying to do, and understand the true nature of life. So I think we are missing one of our friends, so he was asking some questions. So yesterday he asked a very beautiful question. So what we learn through our life, all these things, what is the nature of the life? That is what we understand. When we actually try to practice spirituality, that is what we understand. The naked truths, the eternal truths of the life. That's what. Which otherwise, no one tells us. So that's why we say that when we go through life, we understand the things how they are as is. So they are not illusioned as such. So we understand the things as is. Then it becomes easy for us. It becomes easy for us to deal with those with those problems or those issues which comes in our life. So that way, then what happens is that we'll be in control. We'll be in control of anything. For instance, let's say if any success comes, or if any failure comes. Yesterday, I was talking to that fellow that there is one very famous movie actor. He committed suicide from Bombay. As a young, such an upcoming rising star. You can imagine that, but still, what happened? He was succumbed to the drugs, and later on, he had taken this drastic step. So this is what spirituality teaches us: how we can deal with those circumstances. Okay, right now. And I know now you might feel that nothing is going, everything is going smooth in your life, but ask your seniors. So I am in touch with your seniors, for past 17 years now, and all of them, most of them will tell you that they have a lot of stress. It is like once you get into a job, family or other things like that, a lot of stress will you. So how you can deal with those things? That's what is the spirituality does. So it's wise to actually get trained before we encounter those situations. So it's good, it's worthwhile investing your time and energy right now when you're undergoing your education. Because later on, what happens is that you start earning money, then you don't feel like coming to this, taking up this practice. Of course, there are people they come at various stages, yes. But since you have a golden opportunity right now, so make the most of it. Since you already know it, okay, so then make the most of it.
I'd like to share one more thing, if I could. Earlier, it's all again youth based. So I mean, it's common, right? Yeah. So when I used to look at girls also earlier, I used to feel good immediately. The moment I used to look at some beautiful girl, I used to feel good. But then immediately I used to feel, okay, I want her. It'll be good if she comes in my life. This has been constantly in my life. But then somewhere I heard something, and then I started to follow that. It's like the moment I started looking at some beautiful girl, I used to feel good. But immediately I used to feel, oh, how great it is that I'm facing this beauty now. I was able to feel this sense of beauty within me. Not desiring for the girl, but for enjoying the beauty itself. Right? See the beauty and I want her. No. See the beauty. Oh, I'm really blessed that I got this beauty. The feeling of when I saw her. And then when I started doing this, that sense of happiness started staying more within me. It didn't go immediately. It started staying for 1 minute, 2 minutes, little more. But it doesn't stay usually, right? See, immediately it comes and then you pursue that. But then when I, enjoy the beauty, but not pursue. It's not like covering your face, not by control. Not like that. Look and enjoy it, not desiring for it. Start staying more the sense of in the heart.
And this also understand deeply why it is there, because as Swami is saying, states so like spiritual world, we are now always everybody is supposed to be in body. It is almost like Krishna's body. So everybody is here in this world. We have this duality. Somebody is beautiful, somebody is ugly, somebody is beautiful. But our original nature of the spirit soul is that we are beautiful, like unlimited.
In fact, all the happiness is, even if we get a Benz car, the happiness is within us. Happiness that we feel is within us. It's arising within us. It's not, that is not feeding some liquid into us and then that's not the case, right? It's generating within. So it's just we have to find a way to unlock it by, just like automatically.
You read Bhagavad Gita?
I watched the serial.
Yeah, you watched the serial. No, that is the most they also, doctors also say that I had gone to to this ER, and they said they asked me what happened. I told them this is what I read from the internet. They said you should not read that. That's the most unwanted, the biggest mistake you're doing of trying to know what is happening to you. So one of the things is also that that we should know from where we should get this source of knowledge from. Okay, that's it's very key part, because otherwise what happens is we get misled, and once we get misled, then it is very difficult to actually get onto the right path. So we have to be careful, from where to get. So the authentic books are our scriptures. Like Bhagavad Gita is an authentic book, so we should read it. And actually, we should read the authentic book. So we have Bhagavad Gita as it is, and the lectures which is given by the people who have self-realized. Means what would realize means who have realized, in the sense who have understood it from his teacher, who is already understood it, practiced it, experienced it, and realized it. Okay, that person is giving that knowledge to others, and that person also gone through the same phase. He understood it, he read it, he realized, he experienced it, and then he realized it. So such person, when he's, and of course he's devoted to Lord Krishna. So when from such person, when we hear this, that knowledge actually is an authentic knowledge. Because so from such people we should hear it. Not an, I had gone to this in Harvard. There was one conference, so I had gone there. So he was a double. He was 2 times PhD in Mahabharata and some other Indian scriptures. His conclusion was such a wrong thing. Like, you know, he was saying that like Krishna or God or whoever it is, he is an allegorical, like, you know, figure, personality, and this is how he was concluding his understanding. So we can see that how even though such learned people, okay, they could be very intelligent, academically very well qualified, but however, what do they lack is that they lack the practice, the devotion part, okay, the realized part, and understanding it from one who has already realized it, one who has already practiced that. So that lacking is there. So it's very important that we should understand such kind of scripture from the proper source. Yeah. So we are fortunate that we have some such people, we have Radheshyam Prabhu. So you can see that he has practiced for more than 4 decades now. More than 3 decades he has himself practiced. So you can see that, and of course he's pious since his birth itself, and who understood it and then practiced it himself, experienced it, and then he realized it, and he also shared with many others. From their experience, he gained more wisdom and maturity, and then he is sharing with others. So such people are very rare. So we should understand from them. Yeah. So this is the right way to understand. It is said that
brings actual transformation.
Correct.
Without us realizing, it brings transformation in our personalities and in our lives. And like I say, when my husband, I'm not saying like bragging because he's my husband. I was saying to some other friend also. My husband, he was from some like they are such talented. Ramchandra, like he is doing research in Harvard, like MGH, which is affiliated with Harvard Medical School. And he has research articles, like he has authored so many research articles, and he has patents on his name. So he's extremely talented, but at the same time, he is applying these principles to his professional life as well, and he's successful both in professional life. Same is with my husband. Like he is tremendous, tremendous study. To the point that a few years back, there was kind of, during Obama's service, there was a period where there was kind of like a recession, like a mini recession, and there were so many layoffs happening. But his one project ended, and then he had to search another job. So he even got offers at Nagpur and so many other companies. But his company, after they let him go, they realized that such a valuable employee he was, and so much he contributed and brought to the company that they called him back immediately. Like while he was searching for other jobs and getting offers, and then he again accepted that, and then he was also awarded Presidential Medal of Honor for his work as a employee of State Street. In addition to that, his work in first of the community. So his main work to the community was through his talk. So it was recognized by his company also. So and my point is like, as Radheshyam Prabhu said, like being a spiritual person doesn't mean that you have to let go of your ambition. That important point is about that you have to fight this fight of life, and you have to do your three things he said, like your professional duties, your devotional duties, and your family duties. So we have to do this keeping Krishna in center. So that is a very crucial point, right? And that we have to do in our free time. Like as the saying goes, that Krishna doesn't ask for your worry time. Krishna doesn't ask for your work time. Krishna asks for your worry time. So after our duties, whatever time is remaining, we have to devote that for this spiritual activity.
Thank you.
all can go through this dilemma, like I'm studying, coming here to study the spiritual life. Does it mean that I have to give up everything? It's not like that. Most, as Professor, most of the practicing devotees are married, like family people who hold successful professions and successful in their family life and professional life. So it's possible. Like you can be a spiritual person at the same time you can be a successful professional and a successful family person. But at the same time, like somebody asked question during first session of this one that I did not get the question, but I understood that what is the contribution of maybe monks, what is their need in the society. Monks are like the brains of the society, and their contribution is that they give spiritual vision and they guide family persons on the path of spirituality. And also they bring transformation in the lives of like most of you come from pious families and good life, but there are also people who have like real struggles, they're addicted to drugs or so many other issues there. So such people's lives are also being transformed and touched by the service of monks like Radheshyam. So their contribution is, although we might not see that they might not be doing like a day job, or like many people ask what job you do with the monks. So we might not see that kind of job that they're doing, but their contribution is like they're giving us spiritual vision and helping us advance in spiritual life. So, and such, just like brain is vital to the body, without brain, the body cannot function. That's the most vital organ in the body. So the monks or the Brahmana class, they are like the brain of the society. So their contribution is also equally vital.
Yeah, to guide us, just like we need guidance. So I think Prabhuji also gave an example. Chandragupta Maurya. Okay, if you wouldn't have become a Chandragupta Maurya if Chanakya wasn't there. Chanakya was there to always guide. And if you see any like great leader, there was always there was guide, some spiritual guide was there. So we also need. So if you want to do anything in our life, so we have to have a guide. For many things we have guide. So for instance, now you see, you take up the studies. You ask your professor so many questions. You ask him so many guides. So he's there. Isn't your guide? Yes, for that particular subject. So similarly for spiritual subject matters also, we should seek such guides. It's very vital and important for us. Because generally, what happens? Our brain, mind, it tricks us. It says that why I have to go approach anybody. My mind can actually decipher something on my own. I can understand things on my own. I'm already learned. I'm in the United States. I'm actually studying in such and such school now. Why I have to approach anybody? Yeah, it's not. Yeah, so it's not. We have to really approach like people, so spiritual guide. From there, we should understand. The most important point which I want to tell you, this is actually, you should understand. If you want to master anything, again, management also they say that if you want to master anything, okay, so you should be a student of a great master. Okay, then you'll master very fast. Okay, that's all. Anything like if you want to become a very good, very well project manager, what you have to be under that a very like strict project manager. So who is very expert. You learn project management principles very fast, and even development for that matter, anything. The same thing with spirituality, spiritual practice also. Okay. If you want to learn on your own, if you try to open Bhagavad Gita and listen, it's a very, very tedious, long process. We might lose our interest in between. Better to take help of somebody who can actually guide us. So there are all pitfalls, whatever we might come across, even including the losing of the interest. He may guide us. Okay, if you do this, you lose your interest. So do this way and do that way, and then we understand. And see, there is one way when you approach any exam. There is a channelized way. And another is on your own, you try to decide, you try to learn. And it is very hard path. I know those who have gone engineering, you also understand. Channelized path is also very smooth. We understand that, okay, this is all, boom, take it. It's a very easy path. And we feel everything smooth. Our ride of that particular, whatever the master subject is very smooth, isn't it? If somebody guides us. Same thing in this spirituality. Yeah, and especially the teaching of the Bhagavad Gita. If you want to understand it, take help of this teachers. And since we have it now, he comes here very regularly. Like, he's spending here almost 3 weeks in this visit. And again, next visit is coming next time. We have, and since we have like other people who are here who have been practicing, so we have to take advantage of that. Yeah, so that's. Oh yeah, there will be many Matas. There will be many. You should join now. Padma Gopika is taking the classes now. I think after that they'll continue sessions. So she'll be there, and then after he's coming again. So what happens? This is what happens. He consolidates. Then all the students. Then we take classes. Internally we have our teachers. We take classes. We bring them to a level. Then he comes. He takes it further level. So that's all. So it's initial. The stages are required. So some stages like that. So that's and most of us are like most of all at least they have like couple of decades of experiences. And so right from there, the college years, like some people have already started practicing. They have gone through this practice, so it's not just they're trying to like train or teach anybody. So we should take advantage whatever we have. Like such it helps us a lot. It's nice. Nice talking to you guys. Hopefully we'll now you know. So please join us. Okay. So Saturday, Sunday. You tell me. Saturday, I will tell you. Yeah.
And remote
Saturday Sunday Saturday
Hit Street. Green line yeah, I know. The last one. Kind of. But 4:30 can be. For Marta, the day bus. Oh my God! We have to get fine. We'll get. Very associated with such special activity. Not an organizational wise. Not an organizational wise. Not this is fun as well. 2 years सकाळी या उद्या परवा कसं करायचं ते आता बोलतो आम्ही कसं करायचं ना take the don't put that the scissors don't put it on yeah but yes sir you know like some people I think we'll decide how to कसं करायचं
Okay. What you do? Start with small books. Okay. I think the meeting that. This is gift show. Do we have any other small books? Okay. In fact, this is also mostly except from other Gita. And you know, we have to get the sample set here as well. That would be the perfect one. Oh, really? Yeah. Can you ask them? Yeah. Oh, no, I'm just kidding. You want to they're coming back. Yeah. Are you coming back? Yeah. I'll have some of you tomorrow. Okay. Yeah. Give to them. Hey, Tejas, your friend is upstairs, no? Yeah. You are roommates, right? You and Ashok are roommates, right? Where do you live, mother? So that is the one same one.
Yeah, that is the opposite of us. Opposite to Gita.
So in that there is a small town kind of.
Yeah.
You are
I don't have one. I want to read small books.
No, she does not big one. She wants a small.
I don't
the
want.
introduction there. You got the introduction? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, good. Yeah.
Thank you.
Right.
Thank you.
Yeah. So how did you get to know this one? We came to for this.
I came on Monday for the initially I just came for a temple visit when I first visited Boston. There somehow I registered the name. I got an email saying that there is a session going on. So I just came here and then they said like from the 4 days they'll be teaching other people. Actually yesterday and today only 2 days for my classes. I skipped those classes and I'm coming here.
So what is it interest or what? Like, why?
Somehow I'm feeling good learning about it. I used to always have questions in my mind like what is the thing. So somehow I'm feeling good listening to all the stuff.
You have interest in going in temples, God, or something like that?
Not as such I can say. Somehow at one point of time I got a disbelief that I don't believe in God. Even though I pray so many times, things doesn't work or something like that. But after it's all the supreme power. Whatever he guides, we just follow. We are just the puppets in the hands of God. So something like that. I always feel getting to know little bit more.
What about you?
He suggested me. Yeah. So I got them.
Where did you get it? Okay. Yeah. Read this is based on the topical issues. See what it is just like a novel kind of stuff. You read it, and if you read it thoroughly, it will give you a good understanding. Yeah, read through it and come and attend this one. Our sessions also. That will give you much deeper understanding what we try to find.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye.
Are you coming tomorrow too? Yeah. Let's start now. Yeah, we need to start it. We have to decide on our own. Please, bro, or we can speak. Slowly you'll learn. Proceed again. Oh. As such, you are following the good. Okay, let me quickly tell you so that like before she sleeps, then we are good. Okay, she's ready to host. Okay, so this is what. Okay, because 10 to 12, this program is there. So that will break. Take another one. Bring one chair from there. No? Hey, no. Are you get one? I have this open now. Now it is done. Now it is done. Because only when people use the restroom, so that's what is the problem. Who's staying for how many days? Who? No. Arjun. Tomorrow. Along with them? Tomorrow morning? Tomorrow afternoon. He has bus tomorrow. Yes, I can. Okay, Prabhu. So this is what it is. We can call her. She's willing to host and she's happy, but she feels a little intimidated, like to having Radheshyam Prabhu at her house. But which we'll find. Prabhuji will also go with him. Will also go. So you can stay. Okay. So this thing is Saturday our place. So now, what is the exact venue for you? What are the highlights? What is it? What is it? Hey, Anand. 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 Hey, Prabhu, you which day you want to come? Which day? Hey, you will come Saturday. We want to take you for the.
Yeah, the weekend there is one program. No,
you want to come?
Radheshyam Prabhu told I come.
Huh? Oh, full day. Good job.
It's almost 45 minutes to 1 hour from here.
No, that's fine. Yeah.
Where is it?
No, you are there with us for full day. We will take you wherever we will.
Saturday and Sunday or only Saturday?
For now, Saturday.
Okay.
Is it okay? Sunday evening you can enjoy. Sunday evening you should be there. He's giving a talk.
Then there is then he is going to lead the kirtan. Then there will be Abhishek, and then again kirtan.
Okay.
So, and he'll do dancing. Yeah, correct. Yeah, he knows.
I used to, when I was small, I used to watch the CBL and all. And
Yeah.
So Saturday is at least there.
Yeah.
Sunday, I think it's your wish. You're most welcome to stay back.
Yeah.
When is 22nd? What day?
No, it's
Oh, we have some time.
Tuesday. It's like, don't worry, we have one more week.
This is regarding the coming Saturday.
Okay.
Yeah, no, he's there. Tomorrow.
No, I just I don't.
22nd is next Sunday.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I don't keep good track of days and dates. Yeah.
Understood.
Yeah.
Sometimes I forget that even now it's like 12th or 12th.
Today's 12th.
Yeah. So Anand Prabhu, so Saturday you are there. Okay. So we just want to discuss one very important thing before that one devotee sleeps. So can we have for 10 minutes, 10-15 minutes chat?
Yeah.
Basically, we are just discussing.
No, we want to chat. We want to chat. We want to discuss.
Okay.
Huh?
Actually, we are discussing the schedule.
Anand Prabhu, you can talk to him for a few minutes. Okay. Then once I'm done, then we'll come back.
Sure.
Okay. So Prabhu, we'll do this thing. I think. See, 10 to 12 is morning people will come. They'll come for a morning program. Morning.
So what are the highlights to this?
Okay.
Where is it?
It's Nara Park. Nara Park is one famous center. There is a
Nara Park is very famous, but the home is in Nara Park.
Their home is 15 minutes from there. Yeah. So around.
So the point is, so we'll go there and then we'll go to Nara Park.
No.
Like that.
Huh? No, it's free. No, it's free. Yeah, it is free. It's a park. It's free. So this is okay. Let me explain you. At least give you some idea. Okay. So 10 to 12, we are going to this Sandeep Gaur Prabhu's house for the Bhagavatam. I hope you are listening. 10 to 12, we are going there, and then after 12, maybe we see 12:30. 12:30 we start from there. So we might reach 1:30. I'm just thinking. Okay, 1:30 Prabhuji is there. So, but our students, they don't need to go for 10 to 12. Okay, because they will go for enjoyment somewhere else. So this is what I'm thinking. 9 o'clock breakfast, 9:30 leave from here up to 1 o'clock, wherever they want to. Maybe we can take them. It doesn't have to be Nara Park now, because since they're going from here, we can go any place. Huh? That we'll figure it out. Okay, for now, let us plan this one. So 9:30 to 1:30, because 1 o'clock up to 1 o'clock we can do, and 1 o'clock we'll start from that place. Go to that place.
The camp will start at 8.
9:15.
SC class is only like typical SC class or students?
8. So let's keep that. No, 4:45. We keep 4:45. New students are coming. So let them. They're ready to come for experience the morning program with us. The new all those they come ready to come. So they want to come. They want to come for both days. So it is up to you.
Both days, Saturday, Sunday also.
No, if you then what I'm thinking, we should do that. And then they if you want to take, you can take. If you do, you exclude them. Let them give a break. Let them go on Saturday wherever they want to go.
I'm not understanding.
Okay, let me tell you. Yeah, that's the problem actually. It's a course. But this group, they are ready to come on Saturday also. New group is ready to come on Saturday. So I think if they want to come, why don't they? No, Saturday, you keep Saturday only for the new group. But I'm saying, old group. Saturday, old group.
It doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't matter.
Sunday mostly devotees can run.
Yeah. So let us keep this on old group. Okay, old group Saturday old group. Then I don't know how many people will come in the morning. If they want to come in the morning, they can come in the morning. Okay. And they can attend 8 o'clock. Okay. 9 o'clock breakfast. 9:30. Then we should start somewhere. Go to somewhere. 3 hours we can go and enjoy. Up to and some devotees will take Radheshyam Prabhu to that program. Okay? But let's talk only about the students. Then 1:30, around 1:30 or 2 o'clock, we'll reach that.
1 hour or so, I don't think any session will end. Every session is 1.5 hours. Yeah. And after that, they will have breakfast. And after they have breakfast, we know our Indian standard time when we will start.
So 10 to 1.
Again, plus 1 hour. Rather than we start, we will be less. It will not happen. 8:15, 1.5 class. Say 8:15 class starts. Till 9:15 is very possible. 8:30. But we 8:15. 1.5 is 9:45. 9:45. Then half an hour for start. Half an hour. But then Radheshyam will go. Why is Radheshyam will go? I am talking when. Okay. From our boys.
So okay, 10:30.
So 10:30. 10:30 का start करोगे.
10:30 से शुरू करो.
10:30.
So okay, 11 to 1.
11 to 1. 2 hours is too short. For what? Outing?
2.5 hours. 11 to 1:30.
No, I'm not understanding. We direction I'm going there. So that is anyway of the trip.
No. What I'm saying, okay, I'll tell you my plan. Then you can answer. So what I'm saying, what I was thinking that, let's say, so first part after eating prasadam, what I'm thinking, take somewhere, wherever it is, not to the Nana Park. What I'm saying, take somewhere. Okay, there, enjoy there, and then go to that place where we are the host place. Okay, eat prasadam there, and then we have one more few hours. Then go to Nara Park. Then enjoy there, and then come back again. No session. How did it happen? No? When we go for prasadam, that time have a session. Have a session. Then after session, go to Nara Park, enjoy there for a few hours, come back again for the next session.
But then we have only 2 sessions.
We are planning to have 2 sessions.
So at least for senior boys, only once outside is fine. We don't.
Okay, then directly Nara Park. Then we don't need to go. What I was thinking, why I'm in Nara Park, I was saying, after the lunch, prasadam and lecture, then before the last lecture, I'm thinking maybe whatever time we have, we take you into Nara Park.
I'm just telling what he told me. So he told me that 8 o'clock you assemble boys, and then 8 to 9. Sorry, he had assumed that 1 hour it will be traveling. So he said 7 o'clock.
Liberated boy.
7 o'clock. So that we will plan accordingly. What are we doing? 7 o'clock boys come. 7 to 8 o'clock we reach that place. Then 8 to 9:30 we'll have one class, and then 10 to 11:30 we'll have another class. Some 9:30 or 10:30 whatever. I don't remember exactly, but 2 classes before lunch. Exactly like that, and then
No. We have
no. I'm just telling what like classes, amount of classes. So 2 classes in the morning, and then 2-3 hours outside. Because after taking prasadam, anyways they sleep in the class. So we'll go outside, walk and this thing. And then after coming back from 3:30 or 4, we have another drama. He said we'll have 3 dramas. So these 3 dramas will take 3 hours. Drama discussion. And then 7 o'clock we do, and 8 o'clock. So 8 to like that here. So by the way, Saturday I'm not doing second half. I told you. Families.
Oh, this Saturday? Oh, it's a big bummer.
I'll be back again. Either Saturday night or Sunday morning.
Okay, I'll tell you. So that host
so
is.
Then we have to plan for 3 sessions.
Okay, so what is the.
I can only tell one thing. I'm telling very realistic plan because I feel at the end this is what will happen. My personally gut feeling is have one session in the morning till 3 o'clock. No session will happen. 3 o'clock onwards have solid 2 sessions. Because outing, prasad, wait, easily to get clear.
No, I'm fine. You decide. I'm okay, but only thing that Mataji we have to tell her, because
But Prasad will be anyways in her room.
No, but I don't think we'll ask her to cook. She's ready to cook.
I think we take.
Yeah.
We'll take.
Yeah, no, she's ready to cook, but we don't want to cook her because she's at least hosting us, and they have one other thing. They have a good backyard. So that is one good thing. Yeah. So I asked our this program, they will do next year. So next year we'll have all the. We don't have, and we were unnecessarily spending money. We don't have. What we'll do, we'll just take one. These are two things will happen. This will be wonderful opportunity. And I just realized that one have another Chandra will in the last question, please. So
We have also
Karnataka. See, yeah. So I think what will happen this way. But anyway, regardless that. So what now we'll take down to this Prabhu. What to of course. So Prabhu, aisa hai. I don't know. You are not maybe in the loop. 10 to 12, he has to go for Bhagavatam. So that it is there.
But that
we can't
will
skip
come
that.
anyway.
Yeah, that's we cannot skip. So 10 to 12 minutes, he should at least leave by 9:30.
I think this is other direction, opposite direction.
No, it is same.
Same direction.
Yeah.
It is in northern side or
It's same. We can
side?
no from there, sir. Yes.
Same.
Yeah, same. We can go from there. Yes, so it's not much of a big deal. So 10 to 12. So 10 to 12 means 9:30 he has to leave. So whatever class happens is in 9:30. So only one session to play morning, and that's it. And then after that, Prabhuji has to leave. So then 10 to 12, and 12 means 12, it don't happen. 12:30, he might leave. Okay, by 12. So it's like by the time we reach there is 1:30. Okay, 1:30 we should achieve. So 1:30 means then after that you can think of what you want. Okay, 1:30 there is it.
Can we not just have one session in Nava Park itself? You have anywhere in
No, I'm fine. That is what I was thinking that. But I don't know why. No, but the loudspeaker, Prabhuji needs a speaker.
They are not allowed loudspeaker.
No, we have. Then we have to take all that thing. We can take it actually. We can take that. That's fine. We can take the microphone. That is also possible actually. It's a nice place actually. There is a gazebo there.
Weather is good. Saturday.
Oh, we need the.
But Sunday weather is not good. Sunday rain.
Oh, we need just some system there. But that's fine. Let's go to their house, no?
Can you ask Kaushik?
Yeah. No, we can find. But Prabhu, see. Take your time. So what should I tell this Mataji? Can you tell me please? Okay, this one will happen. Now this has happened.
Prabhuji, you can tell Mataji that.
No. The most this is one part.
Afternoon 1 o'clock.
But he said that Radheshyam Prabhu will stay.
I don't think so. Radheshyam was this thing that will take some place, but I don't know if he will stay in there. But so many things.
Hey, they're devotees. They're devotees.
I don't know. I mean, but it is very near. You can come here and take it. You are thinking that it is 1.5 hours, but 1 hour. It is not 1 hour. I personally think it is better for Puji to come and take the things are set here. So who's cooking is set here, everything is set here.
No, I am fine. He said to me, that's why I asked.
Radheshyam doesn't stay there. Mataji will also feel a little less tension.
I don't know, maybe yes. That's fine. So we can use the house and they'll this.
I'll once again confirm with Shri Gopal.
Text him now if you're awake, can you come out for So okay, so let me decide this plan. Okay, then the next day Sunday, then we are doing again same. Next day we have to come at least because he's giving a talk at 5 o'clock, so we should start. So he's giving a talk at least 4 o'clock we should start. 2 o'clock we start.
Puji can start. Oh, but boys will also attend Puji's lecture? When will Sunday boys come? I think in that way it's better to take both of them together one shot. I don't think it's feasible to call next day, new boys come early in the morning, bring them there, bring them back. What session will they attend? What time they will have option to push them to come back by 5 o'clock. In the 2 hours travel.
Dad, do you have any sabutana vada? I finished.
Oh.
Downstairs?
Yeah, check if there is a plate. They're in the black tray, no? They were there in the black tray. Two vadas were there. Okay. I'm sorry. Somebody might have taken it. Yeah.
But did you have the sir?
That's fine. I'll eat that.
Devotees for taking 2 to 3 extra.
Yeah. Okay, so what do we do? What do we do then?
Okay. I'll quickly get in the kitchen. I'll just go. No. I'll go for it.
No, I don't eat. I'll go on the Ekansi, I don't eat. I don't eat. I really don't eat. Sit down. Okay, so what do we do after on Sunday? Should we ask her? Because she's ready to host for 2 days. I don't know. It is up to you guys. But that way we have to tell because she's in a meeting.
Because on Sunday.
We should give them at least 1 day now, because even though they don't do anything, but mentally they will be prepared.
I think we'll say we'll need essentially from Saturday 2 o'clock to Sunday 4 o'clock.
Then should I say that like he's going to sleep there?
That I messaged him. Should I call him? I think he must be sleeping. Shri Gopal confirm. He also gets up at 3 because Radheshyam will get up at 3. Personally, I think that Radheshyam
No, that whatever it is, we have to just tell them. My only point is it doesn't matter whatever it is. It is either this or that, whatever. Because it's our duty to tell them.
As such, you may stay also. There's a lot good chance. I feel it is maybe better for Pooji to come because things are set here. Suppose she Gopal come to Radheshyam. But I feel Pooji will be very enthusiastic if I want to.
Okay, so what is our plan now?
Or if we have only 1 batch, 2 days.
No, why did we?
Oh, I'll tell you one thing. Shreya's Nasi didn't attend Sankalpa. Anand did not attend Sankalpa. Amrit because he didn't attend Sankalpa. Only Arvind is one person who did not attend Sankalpa. I'm not saying that let them attend. Even and if he comes, you can do activity or you can perform the Sankalpa session, I feel we have time. 3 of us can easily take Sankalpa sessions. I'm sure Radheshyam can find a common class which is common for both. Actually, my thing was I really want to intend to start teaching. He is not available. The whole day will be when he is in there. So before that, whatever session is important, very important. So is there something because now one of the very important questions got an Anand has all doubts about. I can give one. Old and new boys both we call on Saturday. The older boys will be on Sunday morning. Those who didn't complete Sankalpa will stay up till Sunday. Session I'm telling you, so Saturday Sankalpa sessions we will take. Meanwhile, Radheshyam will take God and Gods. That's for the sleepy boys. And morning they will leave. Then another will leave. See, after Gita nutshell, actually first one couple of devices are only. But even if you assume directly PT will start, what is first? How to spirit of Bhagavad Gita and all those. I think the Shiva Chandapuri will start. Anko is there. Anko is there.
Because it's just driving.
Train.
I forgot to tell him what he could have done. He could have taken rented a car and dropped the car. You guys
Practice all more. Something is common. And then slowly we can just understand. We can understand to something else.
So one day only outing?
Essentially outing one day. Next time maybe for new boys again we can take some. I mean, Radheshyam was coming for, I don't know, and as much as that she.
No, you see. Okay. So fine. Then decide what we want. So tomorrow morning, can we know? At least I just I'm just interested that we should tell the purpose.
Main thing is
Yeah, and also because there is no host.
Otherwise, from 2 Saturday to 4 Sunday. And then I can give another idea. Saturday, let us just take new boys. Saturday, let us take new boys. Saturday evening, we'll take old boys. Both of them attend morning program together. And then classes will, so whole day first day Radheshyam is doing for new boys. Next half day till whatever time Radheshyam is speaking the God and God. During that time we will there. I will also be there that time. So we have more devotees to manage board. And then outing could be from like, so Radheshyam can leave at 1 o'clock. Saturday afternoon, do you think we should give them 2 days? We want them to attend Sunday evening, right? Do we want them to attend Sunday evening or not? Because Saturday early morning to Sunday evening is lengthy, long for the boys. It's big commitment.
They are ready because they don't have anything. I don't know, because see during other
boys, how come they don't have off-campus?
Some people we have, but more there are some people who will not. I think it's up to you guys. Okay, you decide what you want. And should we call them in the morning or not? No.
You can call, but
should we keep it optional?
Yeah, we have to keep resting time, like 1 hour, 1 hour, 2 hours.
Nobody will sit for 2 hours Sunday. You think so? We'll ask them to sit after 6:30.
Someone should go and pick them up on car.
That's what we'll do. We have to do.
We have to get up before 3:30. We are we are getting, at least I'm getting up at 4:30.
Okay, guys. So I don't know. You decide. I think I'm fine. Whatever is.
Well, nevertheless, I think at least Mataji you can tell from Saturday afternoon to Sunday. If we reduce time, it won't be big concern.
No, I told her like maybe 1 noon to another one and a half days. I told her like that's what. Rooms?
They have
classes. I think her house is bigger. That's what it is. She told me. So, I mean, I can ask her. That's why I wanted to I would have called in front of you guys.
10 people vesting, is it possible for you? 10 people vesting, classes, place. It can be in the same room, obviously, but resting, ideally it should be different.
Do you want to rest?
Because in between classes, rest is very essential.
Rest means what? Like that?
A sleeping place where they can just relax and lie down.
Yeah, that. So can we take this?
Sleeping bags are there. Sleeping bags will take.
So
just need space.
Whatever there, this one is there. The lobby where so whatever that hall is there, a big hall. So in that they can see.
You have been to like this?
No, I know. I have been told that their house is bigger than the other. Srini Prabhu's house. So we went to Srini's house. Srini's house is also 5 minutes. It's actually 10 minutes now. Actually, in that area, we have 3 devotees, 3 or 4. So we don't have to worry. They are all 10 minutes apart.
What is this place called?
Westford.
Westford.
Westford. So it's
the district name is Westford.
Yeah. So Srini Prabhu's house is not so far. So I think his house is also a nice place to. And he's very accommodative. He's super accommodative. Even if you tell them he'll do it. He has his whole basement where the program happened. And there also we can rest. There's no problem just in case if anything happens. And I can also tell you. So it's not that far. It's 10 minutes from. So I think it just is. So I will tell this. So my takeaway point from here is that Saturday noon to Sunday. Yeah, that's what I told.
You certainly want them, both of you certainly want them that the boys should attend Chaturdashi festival, right? I am not. Huh? I mean, I don't know.
No, I feel, but if they can't, then that's fine. Like if they are too exhausted, that's fine.
It is a bit intense. That's all I can say. Yeah. Because one needs to be very spiritually minded to attend class.
We'll keep it also.
Then Abhishek, then Kirtan, which is there till 1.5 hours. It's spiritually intensive. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's not like a regular.
So that's fine. That's fine. We already done. So we'll keep it optional. Whoever wants to come can come. Keep it optional.
Or we should just ask them to push off at 7. If they come attend class, Abhishek, and after Abhishek, they push off.
Well, that's us. By 7 o'clock, everything will be done.
No, 7. Keep going till 8:39 minimum.
7:30, yeah, because the kirtan goes long. No, this is DT, small DT, and this is outside we are doing, and it's not much of cleaning as this. Yeah, but anyway, I know it can go. Because this time we are allowing everybody to go bathe.
Oh, everybody to bathe. And when there are so many people, sometimes people can get spaced out also.
Yeah. So the place is okay, no?
Perfect.
Nara Park.
That has backyard also.
Yeah, good.
Kirtan space is there. They have a good decent hall for doing dancing Kirtan.
I think so. You can ask.
It's an apartment.
It's a house.
Single home, single independent.
I'm hoping everything is good. I'm hoping everything is good there because I've been told we can ask her. That's why I was told you, like I was thinking maybe I can ask her. She could have even shown on the video also. So that's why I wanted to, but now I think it's too late now. Because I also never went to their house.
But the good thing is you said that mostly Srinivas also stays nearby, so in case we are out of space,